final map if we get that far.
And we are going to continue on with round number 1 with Team Vitality starting on attack and Penta starting on defense here, going with that top floor bomb site.
Yeah, so looking at the setup that Penta are bringing out to begin with on this upper floor, nothing crazy new or surprising. They like their 4 very mobile operators, and then they like to stick 1 very static anchor player on the site with perhaps Pengu's there, smoke to stick close with too. So as far as that setup goes, it's Penta. They'll sit there with 2 very comfortable players on site. Pengu with his smoke, he likes to sit static, he likes to look at the cameras, he likes to throw his smoke out, delay, and then go for the last second aggressive peeks with SMG11 or his shotgun and clutch out a couple of kills. And then he has a dock there alongside him to also just sit very static, be an immovable object, and be very firm in the defense. While then you have the other 3 running around using the Valk cameras that they're fed info from their anchors. A bit more unpredictable, using the speed and the weapons that Bandit and Jaeger have to pick off some early kills.
Yeah, now just getting back into the round here, we had a little bit of audio issues. We know you guys recognize those. So we're here back in round number 1, and it looks like Vitality is going for kind of a red tower hold. This is what we saw previously, where they just want to make sure the flank is not going to be exposed.
Yeah, you have to get control over this so that you can get into the B site right now. A site is something which almost every team has written off as a plant option these days from the get-go. Maybe if you get a few kills in key spots, then you can make it a thing later on. But to begin with, your attack needs to shape up and form towards B, because this A window is a great spot for someone to watch and cover the cross and cover the rotate. But if you're trying to put your whole team through that kind of angle, or even just up the staircase behind it, you're very easily cut off and choked from the defense.
Yeah, now Eunice is going to have to get out of the attic as Alems has opened it up. Not enough to go through, but enough to clear out anyone that might be inside. And so that's going to force any kind of attack or any kind of defender outside of that attic hold.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go through it. He just wants to have an angle through it, so they can't use the window here to shoot anyone repelling on B. And those holes do that perfectly. He has full sightline through the entire attic now.
Now looks as though Rise is going to try to go for Pengu, who's inside of the middle dorms, or the kids' dorms. He gets out of there just in time, though, without Rise seeing him. Panics is going to toss 1 nade in, not hit on anybody just yet. KS is underneath, trying to roam around, see if he might make his way towards the small tower.
I'm confused if this is a spectate bug or what on Revan. The fact that he doesn't have his sight up seems very strange here.
Maybe, possibly, but it does look like Panics will take down that Pengu smoke, and that is actually going to be a very good kill. Reven, though, getting out Fabian. He's looking like he might pick off Junis here as well, as he does hurt him down with 1 shot, down to about almost 15 health remaining. KS trying to come up the back stairs, but enemies already in sight, but he gets picked off by KS. Smoke grenades will come on out, and Plant might go down as Panics moves in forwards. Looks like Junis is going to have to go down the stairs again. KS is here moving forward. He will get picked down as Panics is crouched prone side here by the beds. Plant will go down, and now it's all up to Goga coming up the main stairs, and Junis will be taken out. Last man alive, Goga, coming up the front stage. He's got the, I want to say his camera out. I want to say that's a spectator bug, though. I don't see why he would be throwing that outwards. And there will be Panics taking down Goga.
If you're up against a 1v4, go for a snowball.
Yes, go for the snowball. Throw the Pokeball, see if you might catch him.
Clinical play, though, from Vitality. You clear out the back tower so you can't get killed while repelling. You take control of the attic with the Hibana so you can't get killed while repelling. You had the Claymores set up in meeting room. You had all kind of coverage to make sure no one could push you through there. You get onto the B windows. They killed Pengu off honestly too easy. He peeked around and fell down to Panics. He shot very early on. And then with Riser on that A window, cutting off the rotate back for anyone else that was left. Couldn't come up the corridor, couldn't come up the back staircase, and then just get picked apart. They did get the 1 kill on enemy as he was peeking around the bomb, looking slightly the wrong way, but by that point so many Penta players were dead that someone on Vitality could easily just take his spot and continue the hold.
Yeah, I mean, Team Vitality there had a very good execution, and like you said, I think it was a very key moment or pivotal moment when they picked off Pengu. That smoke plays such a vital role in trying to stop a push, especially when it gets down to the final moments. And so they took out Pengu. They were able to say, okay, we can now we can move in more safely than having to deal with a smoke trying to repel in or trying to push in through the window. And it worked out very well for Team Vitality on that push.
So, looking at the defense now from Vitality, they are down inside the basement. They have run a similar set of operators here to what Penta did upstairs, but their 3 armor is the Echo, who of course has that extra drone for knowledge and for information and just for straight crowd control as and when it comes, as we've seen time and time again from everyone now. You run that smoke echo combo when holding this basement. They don't, however, have the mirror, so they don't have those angles through those that laundry wall and through that stockroom wall, but they are holding most of their defensive cards here on holding the rest of the map. So when the Penta push that way, they don't need that kind of mirror position. They don't need that kind of information because they'll be down to so low on the time. The smoke grenades just in the predictable spots should do the trick. Now, is that going to work? We'll have to see as Penta begin their push. Yeah,
and so Goga right now is actually being very aggressive. He moves on forward. I don't even think he's put in his device yet to look for any Valkyns, but he's moved in forward here right next to the mattress. And I don't think Rise knows about it. So he's now going to peek on out towards Junis, who's looking on forward. He's actually going to turn towards the top of back stairs, and Fabian will go down. And now Goga's here. He actually looks like Jonas picks up a double kill into Panics and Rise. That means Kidstorm is all free. You've got Jonas here. All the defenders are off of sight. If only Team Vitality could get back up. Penta needs to realize this. Go for the plant. There's no pulse to try to get the kill from underneath. Enemies looking for the doorway here. Looks like Goga might get spotted. No, he's actually going to go towards the top of the stairs and work his way holding the flank here. You've got a 3-on-4 at the moment. Still half the round left to go. Oh, sorry, Bombsite. I thought Bombsite was top for a second.
Bombsite's basement.
I was very confused there for a moment.
And they've still got LMs and enemy down there to lock off a very strong hold here with those two crowd control operators. But as you mentioned, Revan is still running around the back tower, could come meeting, and they still have one more slightly hidden away.
And so, like I said, you do have Revan here in the back of Meeting Hall, very back stairwell by Red Tower. Pengu's working his way down. He's got no stun grenades left. He's used them all, but he still has both of his rifle shields. Diffuser, not on the hands of anyone just yet, it looks like.
Yeah, it's been dropped in the safe spot so they can't lose it, but it's a long way from the site, and KS has to go and get it. He picked it up now. Goga is on that IQ. They're using her like an Ash with the speed and whatnot, but they wanted the grenades, I believe, which is why they're bringing her over Ash himself. And they're trying to find the angles in, but this is why you leave a smoke and an echo downstairs, because they still have great firepower, and with their crowd control, they can stall out what is here, only needed a minute.
Yep, and so now you do have the smoke about to come out here. Looks like Revan was able to pick off one as Pengu gets the trade onto Alems. The drop hatch is not being covered. It's only Blackbeard and Thatcher now. Placing that charge in the C4 by Revan will take down KS. Last man alive is going to be Blackbeard with about 30 health and a one-on-one. This is going to go down to the final bullets. Claymore gets destroyed. He's going to look up through the hatch, and he's just going to figure out where to go. Pengu and Revan head-to-head here, looking at the top of the stairs. It's who's got the quicker reaction, because they're both here at the same time. Looks as though Pengu misses the shot, and now Revan's going to have to hop up here. Hopefully he can get it. He's going to start hitting it. There might be a drone here. Revan's just trying to bait it out for the time being. Going to look for the shots, but Pengu knows there's plenty of time. And so Revan now will go for the shots, and there it is. Pengu comes around and gets rid of Revan for the win there on round number 2, going to Penta.
Smart play by Pengu at the end, but it came down to the wire, and the fact that he is Blackbeard helps him out with it, and a little bit of greed on the Vitality defensive side. Smoke pushing so aggressively, trying to take that fight with the Blackbeard. He knew to be on the stairs, knew the position. With an SMG-11 at that range, not a good idea. SMG-11 doesn't go through Blackbeard's shield very well at all. And all he had to do was wait for Revan to push from behind. That C4 could have gone out same as it did. Revan could have come as a duo. And even if Smoke had peeked there and died, Revan would have been able to instantly trade back on the Blackbeard. Because he tried to go solo while the plant was going down, try and fight in 1v1. Nice idea because the planter is distracted, but it's still a Blackbeard versus SMG-11.
It is, and while the SMG-11 does fire out quite the power early on and very quickly,
SMG-11's strength is a lot of bullets towards a head very quickly, and a bullet in a head is a one hit, but a one hit in the Blackbeard shield isn't anything, and the damage it puts out isn't enough to get through that Blackbeard shield fast enough to then get the bullet in the head, even with its ridiculous fire rate, when Blackbeard can just shoot you straight back.
Yeah, and so what we're going to see here from Penta is going to be that double mirror on the supply room wall, which is almost a given. If it's not there, you're going to have one there and one in Meeting Hall, so you can keep a hold of Meeting Hall, which it looks as though we are not going to be seeing Penta do. They might be. I mean, they do have one of the drop hatches opened up, but I feel like they might hold this from a lurker, from a roamer standpoint.
It's interesting that Fabian is still running out up top, but he may drop down below, as you mentioned. They are, as you say, using that mirror window. They've got the echo. They've still got the smoke on in there. They are using a Jaeger, which could come back to hurt here because, as we've seen before, the way you shift players out of this basement, it is Kafe firebots. They've got that to deal with the mirror windows, but then it is just straight area denial. There are only 2 grenades here on Sledge, but those 2 grenades, timed and placed well, can seriously hurt the defense that Penta have waiting down in the basement.
Especially because there's no ADSs to stop
Exactly,
them. So
exactly. So those one ADS would take out both of those grenades, or even as it is, just straight to stop some of these smokes that Glaz is going to throw down.
now this is a little bit different. It looks like they might have 4 roamers and only Echo being down on site. So
Yeah.
this is looking like a very aggressive roam from Penta. 2 inside a kitchen. You've got KS inside of the meeting hall and Goga inside a kitchen hallway. So
Goga
right
is about
here,
to get droned. He just got spotted here.
there's just lots of aggression from Penta, playing very drastically, very dynamically though, as Panix is going to move forward. He's going to look to go to Goga, who's going to get the first shot. It looks like Panix will get it after getting hurt just a little bit, but not enough to do too much to ward him off.
Picks it off nicely. Goga's tried to stay firm, just tried to be a crouch or a prone position, be unpredictable. Instead, he missed out on a lot of those shots, but to be fair, so did Panix to begin with. But with that, Penta have pushed a lot of their players back. They, yes, are staying with these many players upstairs, but Vitality did a good job of soloing one of them off, singling them out, and that forces the others to fall back a little way. But as you can see, the timer is ticking down very fast.
Yeah, and we do have Junis here with, like you said, he's still inside a meeting hall, laying down some pressure. He's the last man of his defensive team that's not on site. But he is keeping the attack at bay. He is keeping them on their toes. They're not going to push in just yet, but they are going to keep their eyes back there. And if you have to think as an attacker, multiple different ways that the defense might come, that's additional information, additional processing you have to do, which could impact your reaction time when push comes to shove, when the fight comes down towards the minor moments.
I was about to say, look at where Pengu's sitting. He is very aggressively at the bottom of the stairs, and it doesn't pay off for him this time. Revan actually finishing him off, but they have picked off kills elsewhere in the meantime.
Yeah, and there's 45 seconds to go. A 4-on-3 gas grenade is going to stop the push from Reven, but you do have Capital holding onto that diffuser, and he is so low on health that even just the slightest gas grenade or the slightest stray bullet will take him down. And so it's very odd to see that we'll have Capital being the one to actually plant that diffuser. Unless he's going to drop it off here, but it does turn into a 3-3 now. 20 seconds to go. Smoke grenade is going to come out, and Rise is going to go for this plant as Fabian actually comes around with the SMG-11 to take down the Glaz that's on the bottom of the stairs. You've got Olems who's stationed in the drop hatch looking for Fabian. Diffuser will get planted by that one-hit point Capital, and now it's a 3-on-2. You've got plenty of health here from the defense squad. It's a 3-on-1 now that they've managed to take off Rise. Fabian's still coming on up here. He's got the shotgun in hand, but it looks as though it's not going to be enough as Junis will go down to Olems. A 2-on-1. Fabian's trying to come around, but Olems gets another one. Now it's a 1-on-1, but they've wasted enough time. They've distracted it enough that we will have Mira destroy that diffuser, and KS will get the round 1 for his team here. Penta going up 2-1.
Yeah, smart play from Penta, then knowing there's only that one player left after Fabian got shifted out of the corner, and it's just, well, we've got the man advantage. We'll just bum rush him as 2 and keep him busy enough for you to stick the defuse. It very nearly didn't work out for them, to be fair. The first spray coming out from Hibana could have quickly killed off that smoke. Thankfully, he survived it. She killed the bandit very quickly, but those extra few seconds it took to deal with that smoke meant that he couldn't peek down through the hatch.
Definitely, and I think what was very good about that push at the very end from Penta, they did have that 3-on-1 advantage, was a lot of times you're probably yelling, okay, let me get diffuser, you two distract, but a lot of times those two players will just rush in forward, and that is not necessarily what you rush up, but they split off, they created a crossfire, they made Hibana work for it. And while Hibana did get both those kills, it wasn't enough.
No. Looking at how the attack shaped up from Vitality, after the first one, the attack of the upstairs bomb site, worked out so smoothly and worked out so well, and they herded Penta to where they needed him to be so quickly and easily. It didn't work out so well for the attack of that site because they have to commit so much to shift Penta away from this kitchen bathroom area. They can't put anyone on the other side to catch them in the other angle, and Penta could just sit there and just hold them with so much firepower, with 4 guns pushing them back, that they wasted enough of the time when they finally fell back to the site.
Yeah, and one of the things that picked up my attention there on the prep phase was Mira actually putting that mirror wall on a non-reinforced wall inside of the bathroom facing into kitchen. Now, typically, you're going to have information, or the attackers will clear out showers and clear out that bathroom area before you actually progress all the way into kitchen many times. And so that mirror window to me is a little bit of a mystery. I'm looking to see how effective it's going to be in this defensive hold.
Well, Vitality First time holding up here, and now currently fighting off Penta's attempt to gain control of the attic, which was coming from outside to begin with, but now Eunice has decided it's time to go inside and make holes in the wall while Goga throws grenades through the window instead and has Pengu covering it from a different angle. Panix is in there, they know this and they're ready for this, but right now they're using a lot of utility to get him out of that. That was multiple flashbangs, a grenade from Goga, and yet he's still comfortably run away and got back in towards the site, and now going to join the 4 other Vitality players that are below the bomb site.
Yeah, and Smoke is the only one that's trying to hold that top site. So what this means from Penta is that although it looks like it might be clear, they do have to worry about beneath them. They do have the Pulse that will probably use his C4 to get a kill or 2, but he's also got that heartbeat sensor to help his other teammates know where to fire up at.
Yeah, this is the important thing here is, yeah, you can get in, but if you lose that diffuser, it's not going to stay.
It's going to be very difficult to re-get it.
Yeah, exactly. So they're realizing now, I think, that there's a lot of players downstairs, and that's a huge mistake from Rise. Missing those shots there has been terrible for Vitality defense.
Now Fabian will progress forward. He's going to get spotted out by the cam. That's going to let Reven know and Alems know that, hey, you got to be worried of this sledge inside of the small tower. Pengu's still on top of the shooting range windows here. That's north windows into the B site. Junis now, he's taking control of this attic. But again, with a team that is playing underneath, this is going to be very difficult for Penta to try to get into the site without clearing out the basement. Reven's got this C4 placed, and that will destroy the first defuse attempt by Goga. Fabian, though, able to get Reven. That's the Pulse finally down. And so with that trade happening, you now have a 2-on-4. Penta's still very strong here with 30 seconds to go. Panic's able to take down Junis, trying to make man count even. He does so successfully by getting into the red tower and taking out Pengu. Now a 2-on-2 diffuser has not been planted yet, except for right now. Fabian's going to go underneath here, look for Alems, possibly inside of the kitchen. He's got that mirror that's going to provide a little bit of intel. Panic's also drops. There's not a man on site from the defensive squad. They're going to have to move up the stairs. And Fabian just needs to keep a hold of his rear. Looking up the stairs, Panix is about to head up here. Same with Alems.
Smart play by Fabian. He hears them coming that way and goes to the safer spot instead of trying to hold it.
Agreed, and here's Fabian holding onto the soft angle as they're going to push on through. Panix scoots on into the middle dorms. Looks like Fabian takes down one, but he will be traded off, and KS will get the final shots down onto Panix, and Penta will take round number 4, turning it to a 3-1 lead at the moment.
That entire round was lost for Vitality when they lost their man Rise in that small tower. When Fabian was allowed in there as Sledge, he did so much damage to the 2 below. Yes, they still got the C4 off and stopped Goga's plant, but then as soon as that plant was cancelled, Fabian was able to push and pressure and take down the Pulse. And from that point on, they had lost all idea of what was going on in the room above. They had no way to know what was continuing. Valk was still underneath, and Mira was still underneath and could have done something about it if he'd have known that extra plant was going down, but had no way to be aware of it because Fabian had already done the damage taking that away. And then when it came to fighting their way back up again, the same reason that defenders have that advantage, they can be dug in. The retake was too hard in towards that B site. Yeah,
so like I said, Rise dying inside of that small tower was definitely a turning point. I think the nail in the coffin, though, was not what was Reven not successfully killing Sledge. Like, Sledge was identified by the cam. Alems and Sledge, or Les and Reven both knew that Sledge was down there fighting him, but they didn't capitalize on it. They didn't try to push him at all.
Yeah, Reven was the pole. I mean, they couldn't push him, right? Pushing him would have taken them away from the floor of the B site, which would have had the same job and would have meant the plant could go through and they lose control of B. The reason he needed to be stopped at that small tower was because any attention he takes removes it away from the B site. And then, yeah, okay, they stopped the first plant, but in that moment that it caused, and that confusion that it caused, and the attention that he pulled away, he was then able to get into position to win that firefight with Riven and stop the Pulse and lock it all down. If he had just never made it into the tower, done. They were fine.
Agreed. And so as we do progress into round number 5, we are going to spot Vitality again, pushing for that that red tall tower, trying to make sure it's all clear before they go and push onto that top floor site.
Looking at the Penta setup, is exactly as we saw from them before. I like this idea from Alems. There's not so much that they're going to want to be using that Hibana charge on here. They're not coming from master bedroom. They're not going to go through the closet or anything. So one of those shots shoots 6 pellets.
That's all 3 ADSs.
Takes down all 3 ADSs if they're in there, yeah.
Very smart thinking. A different way to use that utility, which again is something that's not necessarily seen too much of. But if you're not going to be breaching in from that closet of master bedroom, there's no really need to bring a Hibana or a Thermite. And so they're using Hibana in a different light, and I think it's going to work out for him here.
Interested to see if Eunice gets away with what he's doing on there. That goes to the unpredictableness that Penta like to be, as you say, priding themselves on. Prone underneath that A window is a strange thing to see out of a pro-level game here. And if he times this right, he's got that glass right next to him.
He just cannot move. He even looks down his sights. I believe Reven will hear it. And he's going to start to look here momentarily. But you've got half the round left to go. It's still a 5-on-5. Reven's actually very close now. Judy's actually going to jump out here. He heard the reload. He heard all the shots. He's going to go out and be very aggressive, and it works out for him. But Panics, with that SMG-11 on Sledge, will take down Pengu.
It's exactly what we saw Panics do to Pengu before. Same window, same peak, this time with the SMG-11 instead of the L85, but the job is still done. It's opened up the B location, but this time they don't seem to have controlled this back tower so well because KS is close by.
He is, and so KS is likely to go for a flank here, but we've got Vitality. We'll have to get in shortly. They hear Hibana above. However, KS is going to peek out the window and get shot, or actually get the kill, but then get taken down by Alems in a trade. So Alems takes his eyes off of that window, and it cost his team the Sledge that was on there. 2 nades going down.
I don't know what happened to his Claymore. I don't know if he even had one, but yeah, he had one. But I don't know what happened to it or why he was not watching for whoever it was that killed it. But that
might have been at the stairs beneath.
Oh, should be easy. No, Eunice is keeping his head in while he heard that rappel come through. He's staying very, very close. Here's the next rappel.
He's going to get 2. A double shot by Eunice as he stays inside of the main bomb site here. Peeks around and they line up perfectly. That 3-on-3 just turned down into a 3-on-1 with 10 seconds to go. Alems is going to try to push in. He gets one. Fabian knows he's going to go through some barbed wire, and the diffuser is outside here. With the crossfire going, it is not going to fare well for him, and Fabian will take that final kill. Penta will go up 4-1 and make it match point here on map 1.
That was so smart from Eunice. He knows that they can't repel through the second window because of Fabian and his other teammates' position. He knows that he's got to come through that same way. Both of them have to come through that one window. So he hears the first repel come in, doubts that's to be the diffuser, is ready and waiting for whoever that is. As soon as the second repel comes through, that's going to be the diffuser. That's the one that you don't want at the front, that you don't want the risky one in. So he peeks on out. Even just getting that second one would have been big for the team because, again, the diffuser dropped outside, safe and great.
Yep.
But picking up both of them, super smart play. And then this all happened in the same round where he just sat underneath that A window, completely out of the blue, weird and strange, counted the glass shots, and again, peaked. And
yeah, it was because Glaz was killed off of that big window, so the assumption was that, okay, well, why would anyone be inside there? We typically have a Glaz there. But it got killed off. They were able to maintain control of that middle site. And ultimately, or of mattress room, and ultimately that's what got them that clutch. The fact that it wasn't cleared out, they didn't have the drones, they didn't have someone watching the window, and it worked out magnificently for them.
So yeah, these unpredictable things that Penta are doing here are shining through, and they have got the individual skill enough to make a lot of these work out. But ultimately, they are still all things that could be cleared off and counted out just with a little bit of a slower, smarter play from the attacking team. Glaz doing what he was doing, he was droning areas, but he wasn't droning, and no one droned for him. The very room he was standing next to would have seen the bandit, job done, take that entire play away from it. Then, once the Glaz is alive at that point, what Eunice just did to that window, much harder again.
Yep.
These are all things that can be unraveled by very small changes in the attacker's play. But we are at a point now where every second counts, and a lot of these teams are cutting corners in this information gathering, and Penta are
capitalizing on
it, yeah.
So it is working out fairly well for him. We do have Pengu inside of the garage, though. Again, this seems to be a very typical hold, is having multiple people inside of the meeting hall when bomb sites are downstairs. Now, in this case, there are 2 topside and 2 inside of meeting hall, last I checked. I actually have not Junis. We've got our bandit and our Jaeger topside. On the very top, one's inside of the kids' dorms, one's inside of the middle dorms. That's Panics and Rise. Tried to hold on for the heavy lurk up top. Now you do have Penta working their way in towards the very beginning. The drop hatch has already been opened up, so they've managed to get a lot of ground covered. A lot of utilities already been utilized here to help open up the site, but there's still a lot to come, and they're going to have to hold onto their flank. Reven trying to cause some more distraction by making them keep an eye on this meeting hall as he puts a couple pop shots into the wall there. Goga does have his drone in a good location, though. We might see an early plant here. We do have KS on the stairs working his way down right behind Blackbeard, and Junis is already holding on to the meeting hall. So they might not even worry about the top floor roamers, but I tell you what, Jaeger has the potential to just shoot through the armory floor right down at the stairs.
Yeah, they know that Blackbeard likes to sit at the bottom of that staircase while the plant's covered. They also know that Penta haven't done a great job of looking after the top floor and clearing that. So they've gone for these later flanks. They've gone for these players like Riser and Panic just did. Panic's got shut down, but they weren't expecting a second one, so Fabian's immediately traded. Still inside the meeting hall, though, is Eunice covering Revan. And Revan's going to have to win this fight if they want to try and hold this, because they've lost their upstairs pressure, which means that peek through the floor isn't going to happen. Revan doesn't expect Eunice sitting right there, and now it all comes down to these smokes again, and they still have 50 seconds to go and only one smoke grenade left.
Yeah, it is a 4-on-3, though, and like you said, only one smoke grenade left, but they're still worried about that Jaeger, and he's going to come through by taking on Junis. Alems will get taken down by that bearing 9 onto, or sorry, KS will get taken down. Alems gets another shot, though, onto Pengu. And this is magnificent here by the Echo plays, and the final shot will come from Alems, a triple kill here with that bearing 9. Wonderful tactics here by Alems.
I like it from Vitality. They've spent all these different things into taking control of the upstairs again, shutting out Blackbeard from perhaps above, or the flanking, this and the other. Ultimately, it just comes down to a good old-fashioned great shot from Alems with that bearing 9 into the corridor, not getting the Blackbeard originally, getting the planter, getting the first man down, surviving the shots the Blackbeard then fired his way, re-peeking and cleaning up again afterwards. But that first peek was the make or break point. If that had gone badly and he'd have died, they'd have lost that round and been done, because they'd already lost all their roamers, they'd already lost their pressure from up above. The two players downstairs were pinned in other angles, and it was all on him, but he made it work, he got the kill, and kept them in it.
I think it was... I don't even think it was intentional, but it was perfect timing between the two kills, the Jaeger and you had Alems downstairs. They both got their own kills at the same time, which from a communication standpoint, when you're trying to tell someone where you got killed from, you now have two people trying to say two things about two different locations on the map, and it can make it very confusing for the remaining living players on your team. So I think that aided a little bit in Vitality winning that round there.
Definitely so. As it is, though, Penta is still on match point because they've got this big lead that's breaking out. They are back to defending, I believe, the basement again. The attack from Vitality is I don't know. It's different. They're bringing a buck, and I don't really see what your buck's going to do attacking this specific site.
Yeah, on a basement I wouldn't see it too much, but...
The IQ with the nades is exactly what Penta have been doing, and could probably do this job just as well or better. Or even just a Capitao with his firebolts. I know he doesn't have the grenades, but the firebolts, very, very strong.
Now maybe the thought is that, hey, we don't really know how Penta's going to hold this site. They've done it once, but we want to see it a second time. So maybe they are bringing the buck to try to get the roamers from underneath, or play a different way to have that utility, not for the push, but to help clear out and make it easier for the beginning parts of this round.
That's true. They know there's 4 players, or previously there were 4 players of Penta in and around kitchen. If they take the buck upstairs to above kitchen and use his holes in the floor over there, yeah, it's not the bomb site, but it could still... Yeah, it looks like he is up there. In fact, yeah, they're using him above the kitchen. There we go. So they're using it to flush the roamers out, exactly.
Now we are, like I said, Rise is going to be up here trying to make the defense scatter a little bit. Still with 4 roamers, it's a wonder on how Vitality is going to push this, how they're going to take this, because this is very, very unique to see so many roamers off of site when originally this used to be seen as, hey, we should have 4 or 5 on site. Back in Season 1, Season 2, this is how much everything has changed.
They're just using him upstairs to push them back to site.
Oh, he's going to successfully get 1. He turns around. He's actually going to down Reven, too. June is doing tremendous work here, and we'll finish him off with a pistol. Alems is actually going to, enemy going to come around, and he'll also be taken out by a pistol headshot from Junis. What a tremendous job here by Junis. Oh, my lord. He's a 5-on-2 at the moment, still half the round to go. And the Team Vitality attack has just been tremendously decapitated here on this round.
I like the idea from Vitality. It came into, all right, we'll go above and flush them out from above. Great, we did that. We pushed them all back to the site. Then we'll have to deal with them as a more traditional site attack. We can do that. But in the confusion of pushing everyone back and in the speed and the noise, they couldn't keep track of Eunice, and he seriously made them pay.
And there will go Alems, so low on health, and the C4 from KS. That is just going to be an annihilation. A very good, flawless round here from Penta.
Like, losing track of a roamer, is a painful mistake that very few teams live to tell the tale of,
Yep.
or at least very few players. They'll normally grab a player and then get traded back out, but that one kill can be big. But losing track of Eunice,
You don't want to do that, nor will you do
happens.
that twice in a row.
yeah, no, you don't want to be doing that at all.
Right there, 10 kills on the board for Eunice, 3 of them through that last round, and what a
2
tremendous
of them
play.
with the pistol.
Two
Well, one was
pistols.
a down, I suppose, but still.
Very, very good job. Very good showing from PENTA on map number 1. That was on Oregon. We're now going to move on to Kafe, and Border's our third map if we get to it. But, I mean, looking at how PENTA performed on this map, I was actually favoring Vitality on this map and thinking that Kafe would be more towards PENTA.
Vitality just didn't seem prepared for the aggression from PENTA. It's not that their plays were unpredictable. It's not that their plays were crazy new and their ideas. They're just doing basic old school, I'm going to sit by this window and shoot at it, or I'm going to sit by this window and jump at it, or I'm a roamer and rather than running away, I'm going to attack the first man that sees me. And they're winning those fights, and then rather than, again, killing that man and running away, it's killing that man and running at you, fighting the next man. That's what you saw Eunice do twice there. That very last round, the same. He peeks out, kills the buck, rather than running down the stairs to survive, he follows up by peeking the Glaz, who was not expecting that to be there at all, and gets a second one because of it. It's just different play to what everyone else is doing in the meta at the moment, but still nothing crazy new.
Yeah, it almost seems like, and I say this not on a skill base, but on a location and tactics base. If when you're in casual, how many times are you playing in casual and someone's hiding in some random corner and you're like, why are you there? Like, one of those things is kind of what I'm seeing from PENTA. Like, why are you under the window? Why are you around this door? Like, that's not something that's common in the high competitive scene. And I think that's why they're getting this upper hand. They're looking at these little nuances that are being overlooked by many of the other pro teams.
Yeah, it's not crazy new, it's not crazy different, it's not anything we've never seen before, it's just something we don't see now.
Yep.
Vitality are looking for some kind of logic in the play, they're looking for something familiar in how they played with their other opponents and how they themselves would play it. And as we say, and PENTA are hiding these weird places, these unpredictable, these
uncommon spots in the high ground.
spots. And yeah, as a result, a Vitality on any other day, yeah, of course you're hiding there. I was expecting that. Or I would have droned that, or I would have checked here, or I should have been ready for that. They just don't seem prepped for this style right now.
They don't. And so we are going to have to get into Kafe now and figure out, has Team Vitality taken that short break and realized this is what we need to do to go against PENTA? We've seen how PENTA plays on Oregon. Are they going to play similarly? Are they going to be as aggressive? Are they going to take it back a notch and say, let's play more conservatively? This is some of that information that they're going to have to take on, and some is going to have to be an assumption, especially knowing that PENTA doesn't really have a set strategy on any map.
Oregon is a map which, if done right, means, as we mentioned before, you can very easily herd defenders, roamers, into places of kill checkpoints or just where you want or expect them to be. Vitality didn't do that very well on Oregon. This is even
when they
easier
tried,
to
they
do.
forgot their flanks.
Like, yeah, it's even easier to do here if you can keep it all within one floor. As soon as you let a roamer drop down to the floor below, Eunice on Pulse, he gets a whole nother rat hole of options to run and hide and rotate. And with the introduction of impact nades and some small changes to the topography of the map, it's all up and mixed up again.
Now Eunice is here inside of the bakery. He's going to be spotting lots of people going up to the floor above him. Will he be the aggressive type and to pop on out? I don't think so. He's mainly just trying to get this information before they scatter around the map.
Yeah, maybe in a later round sort of thing once they've got a lead and got a bit more confidence perhaps. But right now, as you say, he's just pulsing and feeding the information to his squad of who and what is around this balcony.
Yeah, so you can see Reven is very cautious of someone possibly hopping out of the bakery. Eunice will sit there for the time being, but I believe there might have been a drone that that Vitality had watching that. So later on in the rounds, when some of their players die, they will be on that drone, so be looking out for him. But it looks like Olems, though.
You just tried to run outside, and Olems was still waiting and watching for it.
So very good shot there by Olems, taking out that aggressive pulse, and we will have a 5-on-4 here as we just get underway.
That does look to me like a Vitality that's learned, right? How did Eunice pick up those double kill after the rappel? How did he pick up the Glaz and the Buck? he was patient. He waited till they were a little bit closer than before, waited till it was a little bit more uncomfortable than normal, and that's exactly what he just tried to do here. Tried to wait under the balcony just a little bit longer than everyone else expects, and then peek out. But this time, Vitality were ready and waiting for him and made him pay.
That was a very nice shot by Rise, actually proning and getting him through the drone hole, taking down Pengu, who was their castle. Now we do have KS inside of the bar store right here, inside of that freezer moment. You've got Fabian, who's still tucked around inside of that white corridor. He's actually going to move him back towards white stairs, but not ready to give it up fully just yet. The wall by Piano, by that top of red stairs, has been opened up by Team Vitality, and Rise and Panics are looking to move forward here as we have Alems getting onto that drop hatch. Goga still fighting a couple bullets, or throwing a couple bullets their way into that cigar lounge, but it looks like Team Vitality is just dead set on taking over Piano first and spreading out through there, which I think is the correct move.
Yeah, this is how we've seen and how we watched this map play out time and time again now. You get control of Piano, you destroy and take control of the Hibanas, and then you can push in and plant just by the cigar room door. The issue comes when there's someone that can go underneath and kill you. No longer a case though, because Pulse has been killed off. And every little peek that Penta are making, Vitality are actually punching this time.
Yep, and here we have Fabian still tucked around. He's going to pick off one, but will be traded down by Enemy. And now we've got KS inside of that freezer. He picks off the Panics, but he's the last man alive in a 3-on-1 with Glaz, who's on red stairs at the moment. You've got Enemy inside of the piano room. Not quite sure we're going to see KS survive this onslaught. More shots are going to come out. C4 gets thrown, but will not get exploded as Rise comes on up from the plant and takes down KS.
Yeah, so we saw Penta try and fall back onto what they were doing the time before. Eunice being unpredictable, second follow-up roamer doing a similar bit of damage from somewhere unexpected. Eunice was caught and knocked down and taken out very early on. Goga similarly done when he was peeking. KS also just couldn't make it work, and every time Penta stuck their head up this time, Vitality were there and ready and waiting for it. If that's a trend that Vitality can keep up for the rest of this map, great. There's not as many options to do that kind of thing here as there were on Oregon.
Yep.
So maybe they can just be ready for each and every little pop. But if Penta have some more tricks up their sleeve, different peaks, different places to show themselves, yeah, it may swing around.
So here we are, round number 2, and we've got Penta pushing on the attack side, and they're bringing a different array of operators. They're having the Thermite, Hibana, Thatcher, Sledge, and Montagne. The Montaigne on this play here, I want to say it's got to be pushing from red stairs, as most pushes do happen here on this top site. So are we going to see something very similar to how Team Vitality pushed? Very possible, opening up that wall by Piano from the top of red, moving on into Piano and clearing out from there.
Yeah, like if you saw where Vitality were, once they opened the hatch, they opened the wall here over by the red stairs. They then kind of got a bit clumped up in that staircase area. They were a bit pinned in there. You put a Montaigne on the corner and push him across towards the freezer and towards this white corridor door. It just helps to shove the defenders back a little way. It just helps to pressure them off without having you so dug in the corner and pressured from that. There's other ways to do it. You could do it with weapons if you want to pull it off, but it's safer to do it when there's a giant metal shield in front of your face.
Yeah, and one of the things that actually I think might be to the benefit of Penta is inside of that cigar lounge there is currently no barbed wire. They're leaving that red stairs push all clear. They put the barbed wire actually inside of the bar. There's no barbed wire here, and so that would make it very easy for Montaigne to push and push aggressively to that front door leading into the bar.
The other option, yeah, is you push in through that front door leading to the bar, and then all you have to do is clear out the A-bomb site, so there's no one firing all the way across over there, and then Montaigne just has to lock off Freezer, and you're good. Now, right now, they are putting him in here towards red stairs and in towards the cigar room. He tags the dock and forces him back a little way more. Goga is going to blow this wall with Pengu covering him, and they are going to look to take control of Piano a little way. They haven't, however, dealt with this pulse that's underneath yet, but Eunice is in those white stairs. Yeah,
he's just waiting. I'm sure if he hears the heartbeat sensor go away or come back up, he will be wallbanging them. But he actually gets a little dick over the head here onto Alems and able to poke him down. Now Panix is here inside of the fireplace. He heard the shots on white stairs. He's going to start looking towards him and goes for the shots here.
He's got Riser in reading room too. And that's going to be in the end.
And there it is. Reven will pick off Fabian as Rise gets Eunice at the same time. A 3-on-4 swap now. What was a very nice shot by the Hibana onto Bandit's head will no longer lead them into victory at the moment. You've got Pengu, though, trying to push in to the freezer. Now he's got to have his rear watched as he is here inside of the middle of the bar. Goga might go for the plane. He's got to look in. He's calls it on out to the right there into the bathroom, and we'll get it down. And there is Doc flopping around as he goes down for the count. You've got two members from the defense still left alive. That's Team Vitality on 2, Pulse and Jaeger. But it looks like the plant will go down as Panix is on red, and you've got Jaeger on white stairs. Panix is going to progress forward here to take off KS. And now, ooh, a little crossfire will happen, and Goga picks him down. But it looks like a little attacking team here will get down. And Goga takes off Rise's head.
C4 was used prematurely by Pulse, trying to kill what he didn't know, but at the time trying to kill what was Thermite, as he was pre-firing in and taking out the mirror through the wall. And as that was then gone, they had no way to stop the plant at that point, so the only way those two roamers could now impact the round was to rotate back up. And in doing that, with the numbers disadvantage and with the limited rotates on this map from below to up, they were easily pinned in. Jaeger nearly did a great job working with it through, but did ultimately then get traded back by, or straight trade killed by the Thermite. KS got a little bit lucky, I think, with the Thatcher kill. Thatcher peeking down that staircase, fired a couple of shots each, and just thought KS would turn and run away, so tried to push aggressively towards him and jump over. Again, Penta style. You expect me to run away and hide? No, I'm going to run at you. But KS held his ground, didn't do the running away that they expected from the Pulse.
Yep.
And came further up the staircase, but was then traded out by pre-fire by Goga.
Yeah, and so job well done by Penta on that previous hold, but now we're going to see bomb site again. It's come back upstairs. It seems like the attackers have been winning their rounds on this bomb site, so we're going to see it held yet again from both sides, most likely.
Yeah, similar to what we saw before, no doubt, but the Vitality push this time over.
Now, one of the things that's a little bit different in that setup in the freezer where we saw Mira was actually they reinforced the wall in between. Typically, you have that get opened up so you can
They've opened one
fire
side
on
of it, but yeah, they reinforced the direct wall between them, so the quick rotate's not there. But they have got a hole just next to it. It's just going to take a little bit longer to go from one to the other. That means that the person inside freezer can still use that mirror window and hold the freezer angle into piano if there's someone repelling on the south windows without threat from being spanned through the wall.
See the Claymore's going down on the second floor windows because they're going to be repelling up here. Both enemy and Alems will throw him down. As we now have Alems. Alems seems to be in this position a lot. He's here, he gets his Claymore down, he's just going to be that information gatherer until it's time to go for the push. Now we do have Panix about to drop here. He's going to drop on top of the front stairs, those red stairs. You do have one EMP that just got tossed out. That's going to allow Thermite to drop and open up this wall. Right next to him, though, is that castle. He's going to open it up, turns around, and actually downs it, but doesn't get the final shots down onto him. And it looks as though Panix will take off Pengu.
He downed him with that quick castle play. They got the revive on. The next peek was there from Fabian, but it was too slow, and Panix grabs him. Now, Eunice was looking to come, but also mistimes it and has to run away. And he's now very much pinned in because of the open window inside that mining room and the two players on the stairs.
Now, Junis here, he is inside of the mining room, like you just said. They're not going to expect, they weren't expecting to just prone right on the other side of that wall. That's why you saw that strafe shot go back and forth at head or crouch level. They were expecting Pulse to run out of there. But instead, he's still inside of meeting, or inside of the mining room. But they have put a Claymore down to hopefully prevent that flank from happening.
It was a smart play there from Vitality. The castle barricade, they were ready for it to get one-punched opened. They were ready for a quick flick, and Panix's good reactions meant it was just a down and not a kill onto the Thermite. Even if they'd have killed Pengu afterwards, if he'd have finished that Thermite off, that would have been a big deal. But because they couldn't finish Eunice off, he's managed to come out and punish them with one kill. But again, this time they're there to answer it, and they don't lose him like they were on Oregon. So they managed to trade him back and keep the numbers advantage.
Yeah, so that was a very good shot by Alems there. Now we've got a 4-on-2 with just Goga sitting around here in the back of A, and you've got Mira.
That's KS.
It's KS here inside of the freezer. This is where he's feeling most comfortable. You can see they've actually closed up. They've saved that reinforcement to close it back up so they cannot rotate through, which means KS has a very good chance of holding off the push here.
Yeah, but if he goes too close to this door, he's going to get seen from the hatch above, from the skylight here, so he's got to be careful where he sits while the pressure comes on in. Looks on out to C4.
Oh, the poor C4, and it looks as though he will get taken out by Reven, and Panix gets the dome shot onto Goga. And that will be Team Vitality taking round 3.
That's horribly unfortunate, to be honest. I'm not sure if the C4 would have landed in the right place anyway. It might have gone a bit too far, but the idea was there. And yeah, again, Panix was just in the right place, aiming at the right spot to get the guy peeking from behind the A-bomb instead. Yep. Same as he was when he saved Thermite's life, planting the Thermite charge instead of the diffuser, but either way, he was there doing his job, covering that man every time.
I mean, that's some of that great reaction time you see from these top tier players. Is you had the castle tore down or broke its castle wall, tried to go with a shotgun close range onto Thermite, and we still had the sledge. Or I'm sorry, it was Sledge or Thatcher? That L85 was a close enough, or reaction time was fast enough to get that kill down.
Yeah. All right. So as we do edge a lead out ever so slightly for Vitality, it's time for them to defend again. They're heading upstairs as well this time over. Again, it comes back to just holding that little bit firmer and in some ways keeping their C4 on pulse a little bit longer. They blew it too early, they couldn't stop the plant, which is what his entire role was underneath, despite Penta ignoring the floor below largely. They sent Eunice there and he picked up one on the white stairs, but they didn't even know there were two others down there.
Yep.
And they as a drop punish Eunice. Like, Penta ignored that floor below, and yet the advantage that Vitality are given by being free to run around down there was lost as soon as that C4 was wasted.
And so we do see two batteries getting put onto that wall by Piano Room at the top of red stairs. Typically, those are taken out very easily by just rappelling onto those windows there on the west side of the map. Now, it seems like what we're seeing here from these two teams are same kind of pushes, same kinds of defensive holds, at least for the very beginning. The teams are trying to get their feet sturdy on this top 4 defense site, and it just isn't working out for them. Seems like it's being attacker-sided at the moment.
It's definitely true, and that EMP takes away those batteries as well, which is a safer way of doing it than rappelling on that window and shooting on in, especially when you don't know who and what is around to run out or to surprise you. They will Sledge open the hatch with the drone on top, so it falls straight through and start gather information through from a cigar again. I want to know if there's more barbed wire or anything in there this time, because you mentioned before nothing, which allowed Pengu's Montaigne to get in there quick and easy, and it's the same thing again. Last time they did have a Doc playing close to it to try and pick him off early, but he was forced to fall back very, very quickly, and this time they've swapped that Doc out for a smoke and play him in a more safer defensive position.
Now, it looks as though Panix is underneath. The Montaigne will most likely get called out here. Now, he does get droned, but I don't think Rise has been, so he should be clear for now. But with that, you've got Junis out here on top of the ventilation unit on the second floor. He's trying to make sure that he doesn't get the opening.
So he knows there's two down here now, because Rise just shot at him through that window, and he knew Pulse was in mining, so they know there's two downstairs at the very least, but they haven't done anything about doing them yet. However, they have forced to move. They know the Montaigne is looking around somewhere in Cigar. They have a player here, the Penta team have a player here rappelling on the south side and now inside Piano with KS. And it's just a case of setting up and getting ready for these final pushes. You see, taking out barbed wire, taking out the mirror windows, getting everything in place so they are ready for now, when Vitality's takeback comes.
Here looks like it'll be a very good C4 by Pulse. He's actually underneath, inside of the corridor, actually outside of the corridor. He's got this hole opened up, he's looking for the shots. This is what Montaigne was very scared about earlier, staying inside of that door because it can be picked off. But now Panix has, he actually used his C4 already, so he won't get the kills.
I was going to say, like, yeah, there's opportunities. Yeah, he's standing here or he's standing there. There's nowhere where Pengu or Montaigne or whoever is going to be more static than when he's planting. That's 7 seconds of guaranteed immobility. Using it before then, it's a waste you don't need.
Yep, and there will be KS taking down that Pulse. That is Panix. Rise is going to get the trade, though, onto him. Now a 4-on-4, but you do have Montaigne very low on health due to the smoke grenades. Eunice will also take quite a bit of damage here, and we're going to have to see a little push from Penta, and it looks as though it won't go their way as Goga takes down enemy, but Rise gets the trade onto Eunice. Now Thermite will also go down as Rise gets another kill into Goga. You've got Montaigne still with just minute health. KS has been injured. He's down but not out quite yet as Rise is moving in through Cigar. He's trying to figure out where is the last attacker, or where are the last two attackers. Looks like Montaigne will go down, and we've got Fabian top Skylight, and he's just been called out. Raven does get picked up, though, so a 2-on-1 at the moment.
Yeah, they had a great spot with Montaigne in the corner, but now this Sledge can easily look at these two. Goes on his drone, pre-fires one and a second because they lined up.
Fabian will pick off both from that hatch, and it was a good attempt at a distraction, trying to make sure that, oh, hey, shoot at me first, but when you get that headshot right away, you know, okay, let me just finish it off with another headshot.
Yeah, they were both low health too, so it did not take a whole lot. A really smart push coming down to the end of it by Penta, getting that Montaigne tucked in the corner. Not only does it force a very wide peek from the man over at the A-bomb site, it forces a very wide peek from the man inside Freezer, both of which can then easily be traded out. But more importantly, it's easily killed and cancelled out by one C4 from below, and that Pulse wasted it early again. and couldn't, as a result, stop the plant going through. All it takes is a little bit more patience in the Pulse. Riser and the Pulse were alive for a while. Yes, the pressure was coming through, but you know they are waiting till the last possible second to plant. So focus your attention on staying alive when you know they're going to send 1, maybe 2 players your way. Keep yourself alive. Kill those players. Trust in your anchors.
Yep.
Then once you're safe down there, you can use your C4 and blow it. They're trying to use it very, very early on and stop the attack from Penta really before it starts. But that's not working for them.
Yeah, it seems... It just seems like the attacks are working, the defense isn't, and so what we're seeing here is now Penta's realizing, let's not go for this top floor hold. Let's go back downstairs. We haven't won this floor at all. So we're going to go back downstairs. We're going to go into that train room, go into that mining and fireplace, and hopefully be able to change it up a bit and get some victory here on defense.
Yeah, I like this little spot here from Mira from KS upstairs. She can still hold piano a little way, still pressure them if they're trying to bro the hatch and just slow them down or do a little bit of damage to them as best you can up there. Maybe even force a Hibana charge out onto the window just for good measure. It's not the biggest waste in the world for Hibana, but hey, every little bit of utility burnt is good. And then you've got plenty of hatches within the freezer and within that site to drop down and rotate safely out of there. So if Penta don't herd him in and lock him in properly, should be a pretty risk-free position for that mirror inside freezer. Yeah,
and Pengu's spot here, he's fairly safe until Vitality takes over that top floor, which hopefully Penta's going to prevent. But what we're seeing here again is multiple, actually 4 out of the 5 defenders all here on side of that top floor, making sure that piano, that bar, that white stairs are all not going to get taken control of by Team Vitality. So this hold is going to be very similar to what it is if it's a top floor site, but now they're putting more effort and more concentration on holding piano as opposed to holding bar.
Well, the difference here is, of course, when you're attacking the top floor, you just have to get control of half of it, and then you can plant in the bomb site you're closest to. Whereas here, the bomb sites are below, so to be safe from the top floor, they have to control the entire thing, and that gives the defenders more room to play with.
Now it does look like Fabian's going to cook a grenade, throw it down to the ground, and Fabian will go exploding into the wall as Panics gets the first kill of the round here onto that Jaeger.
Very risky play to do that, but gets away with it. At the same time, they do lose Pengu through the floor. This is just humid, but they need to hold that floor. Otherwise, they lose him through a peek from above from Hibana.
Now Eunice is going to get back onto site. Goga's actually all the way downstairs by the bottom of the white stairwell. Now, looks like he might be trying to go for a long flank, a long-term investment here by Penta, but will roll out. I mean, they've already lost 2 of their members. It's a 5-on-3 at the moment. 60 seconds to go. Drop hatch is going to get opened up. The floor's been opened up. Team Vitality is going to have to start pushing in soon and get the rest of their picks.
Thing we've seen here is though Eunice is live. They've still got Mira, who's got a great fast firing close quarters weapon. We've still got Valkyrie up, who is a similar very quick fire rate close quarters weapon. We've seen this Penta team pull off some similar clutches in the past. So Vitality need to be careful with how this push shapes up here and make sure they don't line up or anything or expose themselves to a double kill. They need to make sure they just stick to the trades. If one falls, you answer it. Or even better, you keep making holes in the floor and you lower the numbers down before you get too aggressive. Eunice falls and there's 25 seconds to go.
Yep, and so now you've got a full health KS as well as you've got, looks like, oh, he's going to come up from behind. KS gets 1, Goga's going to get another. You just had man count and here it is. I'm sorry, 3-on-2 at the moment. Now Thatcher's going to hop on over, so is Rise as well. And you still have KS looking through, but it looks as though Goga and KS, they're going to clutch it here in a 5-on-2. And that is going to be Penta just coming on very strong here. Round number 5 will go to Penta.
Every single... What I said it.
You
all
just said
Penta
it.
need to do, they have the man advantage, they're 5v3. All they have to do is make sure they are there ready to trade back every kill that goes, or Vitality had to do is trade back every kill that goes against them. They made it even easier by taking Eunice out through the floor and having full control of the bomb sites. But with only 25 seconds to go after doing that, they didn't know they had full control of the bomb sites. So they all tried to group up on that Christmas corridor, all tried to go in from the same angle so they could trade these kills. But Penta were there waiting for them and had a beautiful crossfire the entire way. So when you hit from one, you expose yourself to the other. And Vitality just didn't have the quick communication to explain that to one another, and each one was just lining up without realizing and without being able to trade it back.
Agreed. I was very confused as to why when Vitality dropped from the bar down into that second floor red carpet, they dropped on the left side of the bar right in the middle of both of them. You can easily stop that crossfire by dropping on the bar on the other side of reading. and making sure that, okay, if
just
you want to
drop
get
through
me,
the piano hatch.
you
They've
can jump
blown,
right in,
they've
yeah.
blown the piano hatch.
Do that, push white
soon as
stairs.
KS kills one man from reading room door, everyone else rotates, drops straight down through piano hatch. Okay, there may be a player close watching it, but there's two of you. First one dies, second one trades, and now you know KS is stuck in reading, and that's it. Instead, KS kills a man from reading, and they kept piling in that direction without killing him. That gives Goga all the time to come around and back him up.
Yeah, and so this is the Penta that can come back from almost any type of odd, and it looks as though they've done just that. Now they're going to be on attack side in round number 6. It looks as though we're going to see a white stairs push here as KS moves forward as Montaigne, and he's got Hibana at his rear moving forward.
Yeah, so they are attacking that top floor again, but they're doing it from a different angle with a different Montaigne this time. Pengu was it before, but he wanted to go Blackbeard, so KS has switched from Thatcher onto the Montaigne, and they're looking to go for an A push instead. I like this a little bit more, if I'm honest. There's less angles for the Montaigne to get pressured from once you are in the site, because it is a smaller enclosed area, so you can't get so encircled like you can of the other side. But same problem as before, you are exposed to underneath. It's a smaller area from underneath, so Pulse doesn't have as many options to choose from. However, in Pulse's situation, it's harder for him to stay safe.
No idea how that nade did not kill the Bandit there. It hurt him a bit, but he's still living. KS is moving up the stairs here as we do have Bandit tucked around on top of the drop hatch. Pengu on the windowsill still. He had a little bit of help from Sledge, but Sledge has since rotated. Olem's still drastically hurt, but looks like Rise will take down KS. That's the Montaigne that's pushing up.
Yeah, they didn't cover his back behind, and he just came up the white stairs. The Jaeger just came up underneath him and took him down.
And there's another nade, and that will finally finish off Olems by Fabian. A good throw by there, but there's still many more defenders to go, and they're still outnumbered. Penta is going to have to push in here as there's a minute 15 left to go. Pengu going to get another shot there on the enemy, and again, we're seeing this dwindle down to a 3-on-3.
Penta falling the same trap here as they did last time they attacked this site. They still aren't controlling this middle floor. Now, Vitality gave it to him before because they used up their Pulse C4 early, but this time they've already got the kills with their weapons instead. They've taken out the Montaigne with his gun because they didn't properly protect him on the white staircase. Pengu grabs a quick shot through a window to take out the smoke, and that's a big deal. But now that they've slowed down a little bit more, there's still two players below.
Right at the wrong time. You saw Rise moving forward. We saw him. He didn't. But instead, Goga's still going to repel. Now he's got to look for this window. There's no... There it is. Perfect shot here by Rise. He's going to get Goga and Pengu. That Claymore must have been destroyed earlier on, or they might have forgot to put one down, because unfortunately, that will be the downfall of Penta right now. Fabian's going to be the last man alive. 30 seconds to go. He's going to have to repel in, but you've got to hear that. They already know he's here. You've already got Mira. That's going to be Reven. Moving on forward. Looks like he's going to repel in successfully. Not quite sure how Vitality will allow that to happen. But again, 10 seconds to go, and it looks like as he strafes around the corner, Rise will pick off his head, and that will be round number 6. Going to Team Vitality, it's now 3-3.
Yeah, Pulse, again, being underneath, fed all that information to Rise for that peek out. He knows that they're both on the rappel, gives them both an identical spot, pings it, so you just pre-fire this ping, and you'll get 2, and it's easy there, and it's job done. I like the attempt at something different from Penta, but again, you need to clear that floor below before you can push into bar. No matter whether you're doing A or B, and they didn't either time. And okay, that time maybe you could have got away with it if you'd sent someone with the Montaigne, but you didn't. You left him alone, and if he can get into the A site, yeah, it's harder to flank him because there's more tight corners and he can cover more angles with one shield, but you didn't even help him get to that position. You let him go up through the exposed open staircase, and that's where they caught him.
Now, Penta will have to change something up here because this is their 3rd attempt at holding on to this top 4 site, and it hasn't worked the previous 2 times. So now that Team Vitality successfully held this site, the momentum, the odds are in their favor because now they're going to be on that trophy, or on that kitchen room, or sorry, the mining room, onto that fireplace.
Now, something Vitality have done a good job of these couple of times is dealing with units from below themselves. They have not let him be too much of an impact from underneath. Now, they don't have a Montaigne, they don't have that kind of pressure to worry about, but C4 and the planter is still a big deal. They need to continue dealing with him and getting him out of the picture, because Penta aren't backing him up with as many people as Vitality have been. But Penta's hold of the actual bomb itself, the floor above, despite having more players, as you mentioned, hasn't been strong enough in their last few attempts.
Yeah, and so now we've got Junis here on those red stairs. He's spotting out who's rappelling up top. He doesn't know who they are just yet, but he knows that there are some. It's kind of a given that you will get some going to the roof. Knowing that that drop hatch just got opened up without an explosion, you can guarantee there's a sledge on the team. There's things here that we're starting to see over and over again, and it's just little tweaks here and there that to decide who's going to win and who's not on these rounds. Now, Panics is going to drop first. The last time we had, there it goes, it opens up, and it looks as though nothing's going to happen just yet. Castle may have hit it once.
Yeah, he punched it once but didn't open it. I think he just did it to make the noise and to scare them.
Yep. So now Will's, ooh, a good bandit swap, but the wrong wall will be bandited, and it gets opened up by Rise. So now that castle wall is still going to provide some cover for him, as right now they're going to just focus on the pool, or on the piano room.
Yeah, focus on piano room, but Pengu's still in Cigar, and he still has these castle barricades, which one he can pull down, two he can punch open if they ignore him. And while they're focusing on him, they've let Eunice this time come up underneath and C4 down their Thermite.
So fortunately, Thermite did do his job already opening up the wall, but again, killing off a Thermite, especially with the new recoil on the gun, is definitely something that you want to do for your defensive squad. Now, Panics is going to drone out here as Hibana drops, but you still have Pengu, who's rotating back and forth, and he's trying to figure out, do I push in forward? Looks as though Panic's trying to go for a shot through the window, or through the doorway. He's going to progress a little bit. Pengu's going to take a couple ghost shots, pump it through a lead, but Panics will come out on top of that fight. And a 4-on-4 at the moment, now that they've traded off the FBI agents here. You've got 60 seconds to go, and Fabian will take down the head of the Lems. Now, he's still here, tucked around inside of the Scar Lounge, inside of the piano room. Glass is going to move on forward, and we see enemy, though, repelled off the south windows. That's going to force Fabian to retreat all the way down here to Yellow Stairs, and Jonas still underneath. So we'll have to see, will they get rid of this pulse?
Yeah, I wanted to give Vitality props for what they did before controlling Eunice, and then they didn't do it. Because they couldn't deal with Pengu, this guy, because Panics couldn't focus his attention to below, Eunice was able to come up and punish them. This time, Revan reacts very quickly and smartly and does take Eunice down and is flanked up, but the damage is already done. They've lost a lot of players. KS takes Panics down as he tries to push into the site, and they're back down to a man disadvantage. And as KS tags Revan up again, they're constantly keeping him pinned in this cigar room. He can't go into piano, he can't come into this doorway, and KS and Gogo have a good angle on anywhere they might plant.
Now there are 10 seconds left to go. You're going to have one fall as he drops through the hatch. The last man is going to be in Glass as he moves on forward into the site, and KS will go down, but Goga there to take it down for Penta, and we will see Penta head up 4-3.
Again, smart play come the end of it. Penta, they just stuck close together and traded each one back. If the first man came through the drop, quick kill. Even if he'd have killed one, Gogo would have been there to immediately trade it back afterwards. Glaz comes forward, takes that one, immediately Goga's there to trade it straight back out. Vitality, yeah, didn't do as good a job of dealing with Eunice that last time. He punished them by taking out the Thermite. They did a better job of not letting him get more kills afterwards because, again, it's just one staircase that he can come up, and Revan was there with his Glaz. But the damage had been done at that point, and with each man, whoever gets the first kill, as long as those trades then continue coming through, you're going to have that man advantage. And Eunice got the first kill, Penta kept the trades going, and came out on top.
Yep, and so now Team Vitality will go back downstairs into A and B down here inside of the mining hall and the fireplace. Now, like we said, this is the first time that Team Vitality has held this site, so it could go in their favor. Penta could just come out swinging and take this map, because we are match point as well as series point for Penta, who dominated over Vitality on Oregon earlier. So if Penta can successfully push on to this site, get this plant down, get all 5 defenders killed, we will see Penta moving into that #1 slot in Group B for the European Pro League.
Yeah, they are bringing themselves that Montaigne into the mix again. They are looking to push into A and B, which are in the middle of bomb sites this time, but they've of course got to take control of upstairs first. And just like before, Montaigne pushing onto this upper floor has a lot of angles that can be rotated upon, but because of the way the windows and the angles work, if Penta are repelling in the right spots, they should be able to shut down any of those flanks. And just by walking forward with Montaigne, the roamers, if again done right, will walk straight into Penta's sites.
Yep, and we are going to see Hibana out here, just outside of the east windows. Now, we saw Jaeger pre-open, basically prime those windows and could hop out if he needed to, but right now Fabian's trying to hold down the top of red stairs, make sure that Pengu's not going to be flanked from above. He's got KS working his way beneath him here. Thermite's going to work their way. This looks like we might be seeing what could be almost a barrage tactic.
Yeah, they're not going on top floor at all, and I know I keep talking about how, like, Vitality need to deal with Eunice from underneath on their attacks, but Eunice, you see on the scoreboard there, doesn't actually have a lot of the points, or a lot of the kills. Good C4 straight out from enemy down the stairs
And
for a double!
one! Very good kill on a Koga, and KS.
Pengu's very low.
He is. Pengu is very low off of that one, and it looks like Junis will also go down by Olems. What looked to be a very solid push from Penta has just drastically turned, all due to one C4. Pengu's going to go down. That he got rid of that that shield, and it looks as though he'll be shotgun. Fabian will try to turn things into his favor. He's managed to get one, but he will have to get the ace of his life here to keep this going.
So yeah, I want to go back. Eunice, I said they have to deal with him. They have to deal with the players from below, and he hasn't actually got that many kills this time, because every time that Vitality are pushing forward, they've got one man watching underneath, they've got one man watching the other angle, and then their players up top are going down, losing firefights, and then there's no answer. So the players on site are actually getting a lot of the kills here for Penta, but they're not being traded back because they're distracted by this threat from below. This attack, however, they try something different. They ignore that top floor. They try and just thermite the wall open into B. They don't account for enemies sitting inside the mining room, because no one sits inside the mining room. More importantly, no one plays Pulse with a shotgun, which is why he was in the mining room. He was going for that slightly different play, shotgun Pulse inside a room you don't expect, and hell, did it pay off for them, because they're all pinned inside that red staircase.
So now we've got Fabian, who just can't decide who to go after first, and so now he's going to put himself vulnerable. He's going to jump on over, and he will take down Reven, but before his feet even touch, Panics will take him down, and that will be Team Vitality taking this to overtime on map number 2.
Don't know how this is going to wrap up. These last few rounds are going to play, or should play, very differently to what we've seen before. Like, both teams have shown their hand and so many different ideas and so many different strategies and attempts. But none of them have been so outright successful that we're going to definitely see that one again. It's a gamble as to which one or which card each team is going to play.
Going off of feelings and who I feel has performed best throughout these 8 rounds we've seen so far and who's been set up the best, I think the momentum that Team Vitality just gathered there through that Pulse C4, being able to just like, you got a double C4 kill, plus we just killed off Montaigne, we just annihilated this round. I think this momentum will at least carry over into this round and possibly into the 10th round. Now, will Penta be able to create their own momentum, create their own motivation? I believe so. But who's going to be able to basically be able to top it all?
Going by Penta's lineup right now, they've brought that Montaigne back. They're attacking this upper floor bomb site. They have won one round in which they used this when they got him in and planted inside the B site, right tucked in against that wall. But it was a scrappy one. It came down to the wire, and it was by no means clean. And every other round they've tried to use this Montaigne, it has not worked out very well for them at all. So yeah, on top of the little bit of momentum you said, Vitality just on a slight comeback forcing this overtime, and on the fact that Penta's Montaigne use has not been particularly impressive. I don't know. I think Vitality may pull ahead in this one.
Yeah, it seems likely, but there aren't, right now, I think that is Junis. Junis still has the stationary cam by Park Alley. There he is. He finally looks to get it, but he's already been spotted out. They know there's only one repelled on that balcony, or on that wall. So right now, Junis is kind of trying to bait out that push.
He's just there in case they peek, they know he peeks, and then when they're ready for him, he'll peek into Piano like this and help provide some pressure and help push towards someone that's inside Piano or inside Cigar and keeping his team busy through from in there. It is enemy again with a shotgun once more, so interesting. Pengu pushes in through Cigar once again, shield in hand. There is a bit of barbed wire in it this time, and it's just there to cover my plant again. Pengu ducks on it around.
Holding the close with a shotgun, he's going to go, but it looks like the Montaigne will take him down as Pengu unshields himself and is able to annihilate the enemy.
Yeah, close range like that. The shotgun's good, but it still can't get through the shield, and the hip fire revolver will go straight down between your eyes. Eunice comes in through Piano Wall because of it. Reven is still inside there behind the mirror windows now, and it will be the next line of defense here for Vitality. They still have players.
Oh, and as Fabian looks on up, he will pick off Olems, who was trying to reinforce the window. Not quite sure that was the smartest move there from Team Vitality, and that's going to make it 5-3 here for Penta, with still just about a minute, a little over a minute left to go. But Fabian now has a very good angle. He's actually going to take down Rise. He hurts him drastically and forces him to re-peek, and it does not look like it's going to bid well for Rise here.
Now, Eunice at the same time has picked off Revan after making some holes in those mirror windows, and this is going very, very well from Penta, as Pengu's already planting inside or by Freezer door.
Here is the C4 toss, wrong's positioning, and right now he's just going to have to play that as, now it's going to have to be a bait, basically. A 5-on-1, it's all up to Panics. He will pick off one to start off the clutch here, but will it go his way? He's going to have to blow the C4 here momentarily.
They already know where he's coming from at this point. They've got a man on the hatch, they've got Pengu watching one angle, he has to come through the white corridor, and
there
little
it
bit
is.
potato, but Goga's got it for free. Like, everything Vitality had done well in their previous attack defense rounds of this floor just didn't show up here. Enemy trying something different there with that shotgun pulse, shotgun castle, just messed with it. They've done so well at holding them at a distance, locking Penta inside piano, keeping them away and shutting them out. And then suddenly, let's try and play close, let's try and play up front on a Montaigne. Yeah, no surprise, he's just going to shut you out and kill you off, and then you've lost control of piano completely.
Yeah.
All you had to do was stay inside Cigar like we'd seen from the past. I've seen from Penta on their defenses in the past, and they burn a lot of time. They have to go through piano to deal with you. You've got a player with the mirror windows in Freezer to keep that busy and to help you out, and instead you isolated yourself and were an easy kill. And then again, the numbers advantage snowballs.
It seemed off. Like you said, it wasn't what Team Vitality had shown us previously throughout the first 8 rounds of this game or of this map, and it seemed almost like not fatigue was setting in, but they were missing things. They were either making assumptions that weren't going in their favor, like closing that door, thinking that it was, or closing that window, thinking it was all clear. Not quite sure that reinforcing or barricading in the middle of a round when you still have a whole team of enemies is something you want to do. Yes, it might give you an idea, okay, he's going to have to punch it to get in, but at the same time, if that window's open, you're going to hear that rappel a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's an echo of all operators too, so your drone, I hope, was up the other end towards the B-side, towards Cigar, towards piano, and you're giving and you're feeding information and you're being useful to your team straight using that. Not only have you just died and lost a weapon, lost a man, you've lost a massive amount of
utility,
team, and and help to your team in that operator being out of the picture.
Yeah, and I mean, so like you said, that was Echo that got taken out on that last round. Now, as you guys saw, we did have a little bit of a disconnect there on our end, a little bit of connection failure.
It was the entire game, apparently. The players, like the entire server went, the players dropped and everything too. So there's no round was played that we missed, nothing's being replayed, nothing whatever.
So we're all good for now. So when we get back in here, we are re-inviting everyone right now. When we get back in, it will be round number 10. Penta is up 5-4 in overtime. This is map number 2. But now it's Team Vitality's turn to attack. And Penta unsuccessfully held the top floor 2 times. They went downstairs and they held that basement, or they held the mining room successfully.
But that was a 5v2 clutch, which you can't rely on.
You can't rely on that. What do you think we're going to see here from them? Seeing as how a 5v2 clutch, let's not count that as an over-exaggerated win. They didn't win it by a long shot. It was a very clutch-worthy situation. They haven't proven themselves on any bomb site yet defensively to a definitive standpoint on they're going to go this site. So which one do you think they're going to choose?
Whatever they need to do, whichever one they choose, I'd like to think it's probably the top one. They've had a little bit better luck on there, if not perfect, but better. But they just need to stick tried and true. What we saw Vitality fall down to there was trying something different and new and crazy and catastrophic. All Penta need to do here is stick to something familiar, stick to something they've done before and are comfortable on, and then react to what Vitality throws at them. Because Vitality are shaken. The pressure is on for them. They just lost a round. They just hit this overtime. It's all to play for here. They're down a map. All Penta need to do, and that they've shown they can do, is play the slow, disciplined play we saw from Oregon. Eunice hiding for that longest point. Everyone waiting until Vitality slip up, and Penta are a team which are good enough, and they've shown they're good enough to capitalize on those mistakes. Don't try and force them out. Just capitalize when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the momentum now, you've got, or the mentality, not momentum, but the mentality. Penta has 1 round to win, and Vitality's coming into this saying, we have 2 rounds to win, we have to win 2 straight rounds, and then we have to win a whole nother map. The mentality is now beat down. It's a very overwhelming feeling for Team Vitality right now. I can feel how they would feel overwhelmed. They're saying, we've just played our hearts out for these 2 games. It now comes down to us winning the next 2 rounds back to back, which we haven't done yet. And then we have to play a whole nother map on, Border.
So I should hope Vitality are experienced enough and they're mature enough that it's the same for a reason. You take it one game at a time, take it one round at a time. So the threat of a third map here shouldn't be too far in their heads. It is literally round by round. All right, we just got to win one more round. Just got to win one more round. Just got to win one more.
That's where the in-game leader comes in.
Yeah, that if they can keep that cool going, could help them through this, could help them go with it. But to say if the pressure is mounted up, if they can't think of that, if they are focused on the other maps, they're focused on 2 rounds, it could all crumble here, and those are mistakes that PENTA need to see and capitalize on. So we'll see if it happens or not. I hope for Vitality's sake it doesn't. This game has really started to wake up as these 2 teams are feeling each other out, trying new strategies, trying new ideas, some to some success, some to less success, but it's also spurring these big moments like that 2v5 clutch from Goga and KS.
Yeah, and so we are going to get back into the game here momentarily. Everyone's in lobby. They are picking their operators at the moment. Again, like we said, this is round number 10 on map number 2. PENTA won the first map on Oregon. Now they're leading 5-4 as we get into round number 10 on Kafe. Now, like we said, this is PENTA's defensive hold. They are going to decide to go to that bar and cocktail lounge, that top floor site. They've done it multiple times unsuccessfully. They've done it successfully once. Will they be able to do it again is what we're about to find out here as the round continues.
Looking at the attacking roster again from Vitality, and it is the same old familiar few. It's a question again of how and where they use them last time around, and every time they haven't dealt with below too well, and while Eunice is not getting all the kills, his presence is enough to split the attention of Vitality. They're not able to either all push the top bomb site, and if a player dies, trade it, or all push the top bomb site and just swarm the numbers. They also then don't all push the middle bomb site and kill him off / trade out another kill on him. So as a result, they're split, everyone pushing one way, bar 2 or 3 players that are left to look below, and therefore those players can't trade, and therefore the first players that are pushing are dying, and no one's there to trade them back. I want to see them pick one. You either go wholeheartedly into the top floor bomb site and just ram your head in. Not an easy task. There are brick walls of mirrors and mirror windows and smokes that are there waiting for you. Or you go all 5, clean out the rest of the map, go from the ground up through the middle floor, completely wipe it all, and then you push the top floor.
Ooh, and they had a little bit of C4 thrown by Junis. Again, one of the things you called about was it's much easier to, or it's much more, it's less of a risk if you're going to use your C4, wait for the plant to go down and go that way, as opposed to what was really risky there, trying to get Hibana or whoever he thought it was, placing a Claymore at the window when it didn't work out at all. She's not even hurt.
Yeah, he saw them there, they punched it, there's a bullet through. Just spray your gun through it and run away. It's just as likely to get that lucky kill. Yeah, just as much chance to get that lucky kill, and you save that C4 for later on. Now that's gone. They still have one on Mirror, yes, but the chances of her being able to use it onto the plant, we've already seen what happens. She's in freezer.
Throw it on the side of the bar.
Yeah, she's in freezer, and the only way she can do it is peeking out the door, and there's a man on the skylight shutting her down, so it's low. So, yeah, not ideal to use up so early on for no reward.
Now it does look like Rise will get that wall opened up here as Panix is still covering underneath. Eunice wants to come on forward. Now last time he had that C4, he tossed it up and he picked off the Sledge. He picked off Panix, but he's already used that C4 now. So what's going to happen here? We're going to have to wait and see. Is Sledge, is Panix going to keep an eye downstairs?
Fabian's still teasing that peek in and out, but whilst he gets pinned in the corner, Panix has dropped through red and uses this angle from the doorway to shut him down, and it's a good start for Vitality.
Yeah, and so now Panix, again, he's going to be the one pushing forward, throws out one nade. Rise is going to be on his drone, basically gathering all the information. He's the intel gatherer right now, telling him where PENTA is, where PENTA's not, where's it safe to move in. Hibana has dropped through the hatch. She's going to open up that mirror wall. Goga is going to be here inside of that cocktail lounge. Now for him, his main priority is making sure no one drops through the window, but as the round goes on, he's going to keep on peeking towards Cigar. He's going to keep on peeking towards Panix and Olems. And again, this is that standoff that we always seem to come down to.
This comes down to now PENTA staying alive, right? Goga, they know where he is, they know these positions, but if they can just stay up, that means Eunice is then going to have the freedom to do something from below. As soon as these players upstairs start to die, then the players underneath have to worry about an extra attacker that's been freed up to look for them.
Ooh, and it looks like Reven will take down KS here as he gets his head caught under fire inside of the freezer. Panics manages to move in, and he knows that Goga, he was the one that drone him out. He knows that Goga's on top of that A countertop. We actually have Junis underneath. He will not get the shot, but Goga does take down Panics as he moves forward. Diffuser does get planted. Some more smokes, or some smokes get thrown. Bullets will not go flying. Pengu will take down one. Rise will get the trade, and the Lems will get the final kill onto Pengu. And Team Vitality has brought this back. We are now headed to round 11, the last and final round of this map.
Good round from Vitality. Singling out that first kill from Panics onto Fabian was big. Again, this comes back to no one was there to answer it. It was a free kill. It was one man on his own. Shut him down and good. And from there, they could slowly move forward. And it freed up that one extra man to then go downstairs and find and get ready for Eunice. And while Eunice was busy spraying the wrong part of the floor, millimeters away, but still the wrong part of the floor to stop that plant, he was then exposed and not paying attention to being flanked. And they punished him and took him down with that. And meanwhile, the other 4 players who were still alive were able to sweep their way through the upper floor. And this time, Penta were not in as good a position to cover each other and trade back those kills.
I feel like the explosive radius of a C4 is more than a few millimeters, so it would have been good to have that C4
would have done
in
that
hand.
perfect.
Yes, would have done the trick. Now, unfortunately, it didn't, and here we are, round 11. What we are going to see, though, again, is we are going to see that top 4 site, which is true. We should be having that. No. Are we? We keep on seeing the same operators chosen. We keep on from both sides, attack and defense.
It's slight change here, though, on Penta's front. Now, they haven't shown it to us yet. This isn't the first time they brought Montaigne and Blackbeard, but last time they did that, they tried to use it to push through the A-bomb site up the White Staircase, and it went horribly. If they use both of those operators this time to push through Piano, however, things could get a little bit different. We've already seen how deadly can be on that Pengu can be on that Blackbeard. Fabian's Montaigne can still do what Pengu was doing through Cigar and get inside and get the plant going, and that may be a more formidable force. We've already seen them win once with that attack. All they need is once more.
So we are going to see KS working his way through the bakery parking lot, moving forward. Everyone's going to rappel up onto the roof. They're then going to get in position and move on from there. We aren't going to see what we saw previously, which was Montaigne and Sledge, or Montaigne and Habana, I think it was, pushing up white stairs.
Yeah.
So it does look like they've maybe learned from their mistakes. They've realized, okay, let's not push the A-bomb site just yet. We do see Eunice out here placing the C4 down on the doorway, but for the most part, it looks like we are going to see a red hall push.
Yeah, drop through the hatch in towards Cigar, push towards your familiar piano/freezer doorway, and start to control this upper floor because of it. It's not an issue really for Vitality. They're used to it. They're ready for it. They aren't in Piano. They aren't holding it deep and aggressively. They've got players in Freezer, and then they've got 2 below. But it's a question of, can Eunice get both, or will he punish and take away the Pulse? Because that's the important one of the 2. In the past, he's come up, he's killed the Pulse, then died to the Jaeger. Doesn't matter. He's killed the Pulse. They need to stop him getting that kill.
And we are going to have one jump out, and it looks like he will be successful. Rise taking down Fabian. Now, typically what you'll see is a Claymore underneath of that window. Even if they get out and manage to get 1 kill, he will be down and then picked off by a teammate. But you actually have Panics here right on the other side of the wall. I believe that is from Eunice. So as Eunice comes on down the corridor by the fireplace, he's going to, actually that's Pengu, picking off enemy. Now Eunice knows there's one inside of Rating. He doesn't know that Pulse is to his right, and so he's going to have to get out of there before Panics decides to whip out the UMP and go for the shots. And here they come, right down onto Eunice, takes him down to about 50 health. And that will force him to be even more worrisome as he sticks himself inside of the fireplace at the moment.
Again, though, he can't... the Pulse can't C4 the plant right now, or can't do anything to help this plant because he's so focused on where Eunice may be. Instead, he's nicely done, flanked around and taken out Pengu from behind, and then is now a function here. Revan's picked up a kill too, and it's looking great for Vitality.
And here we have it now. Goga was able to get that knife down onto Reven. Goga's the last man alive in 3-on-1. The Echo Drone is still spotting him. All 3 charges have been done. So now they're just waiting for Goga's to move on out of here before that last and final moment comes. But the Jaeger from underneath and Reading will down Goga. And we will see Team Vitality take this map to head on into Border.
It's an exciting climax through for the Kafe for Vitality. It came back to really quick, smart on-the-side play from Riser, and okay, we didn't get the full scoreboard at the end because of the disconnect, but he had about 15 kills before we had to remake,
yeah.
And he stepped up again there at the end, really making it count and going for those impact plays. The decision-making and presence of mind to realize that Fabian is rappelling out there on that A window alone, and it's not the biggest of kills. I think it was Thatcher that Fabian was at that point, or maybe Sledge. At that point, on that A window, he's not the most impactful of operators. He's not the biggest deal. And to jump out and make sure you grab that kill, yeah, it's nice, but if you instantly died afterwards, what do you really get from it? Not a whole lot, but to still do it and to get in and get away safely afterwards made a huge, huge impact for his team.
And here's that double peek out that Rise got. He got those two, and then you saw that last round, he got that kill there. That was Hibana he got, right?
Yeah.
So you can tell if you're going up against Rise, you better be aware that Rise will jump out onto that ventilation unit.
Make it count. It's a beautiful play again from enemy there too, just hiding in that slightly unpredictable spot, beating PENTA at their own game, so to speak, being surprising, being unexpected, and sitting in there with that shotgun to get that quick C4 and to get that double kill followed by the Montaigne kill inside, and again, keep them going, keep them back, keep it close to overtime, and then just enough of them to push on through. Looking into Border, it's a map that plays in a very similar fashion to what we just saw Kafe.
It does.
And again, we've just seen Kafe go up and down all over the place, different teams this way and the other. But it's one which allows a roamer like Eunice a lot more freedom, because there are far more options for rotations up and down if they can't lock him down and pin him down.
Plus, there's, like I said, if they can't lock and pin him down, he not only has rotation up and down from two different stairwells, but he's got a lot of horizontal rotation, because you can pick off with C4, you can pick off people inside of monitors, inside the bomb site, whatever it may be on that top floor hold. But vice versa, the same goes for underneath. The entire floor, the entire middle floor there on Border is destructible, almost every portion of it. Any portion that matters anyways. And so they are going to have to figure out how to deal with Eunice if they want to take this map.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, yes, again, I keep harping about Eunice, and he's really big there, and he is the big roamer, and it's a roamer that makes plays, but the rest of PENTA stepped up big time in that last game too. They didn't win, but they still had a lot of the kills. Eunice didn't have all them all, and the PENTA guys that were winning those rounds and the win they did, they held on firm. And Goga and KS 2v5. Like, that's a big deal as well, of course. Over on Vitality Squad, yeah, Rise went huge and had a massive number of kills by the end of it. Again, somewhere way over the 15 mark, went really big for that. So on PENTA's part, they have to deal with him. They have to lock him out and shut him down. But he has proven that he can, in the right situation, be just as effective and free-flowing as some of the PENTA roamers. Is he as good at that on Border as he is on Kafe?
We'll have to figure out. He'll have to find out.
Got to wait and see what the case is. But it's a map which has shown, again, a lot of different options for attack, whether it be through Office, whether it be through the B site. And throughout the course of the last few weeks of games, we've seen some new, different ideas brought to the table that can negate those kind of roamer plays, because the amount of play and attack that has been done from outside, from spots that the roamers can't get to without exposing themselves.
Now, one of the things that I feel like what we might see, I'm thinking back to the previous matchup actually when we had the bar and gaming room chosen on Chalet, is a possible different bomb site here. Like, top floor guaranteed you're going to have. Typically, the servers and ventilation unit, the ventilation room are the second choice, but we have seen tellers chosen before. I think it did not work out when we saw it last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. But we also had our, I want to see security potentially, the security and supply closet over there. That seems like it could be a site that would favor the roaming of Eunice potentially. It's
possible, but it's a site which is very easily attacked from above. And that then comes back to how well do you hold CCTV, because that's not an easy place to hold.
Agreed.
Because of how open it is and how easy it is to get multiple angles on it. So if it's there and if it's shown, it shows team with a serious amount of idea and strategy behind it. Something that PENTA haven't said they've got.
Agreed. And now we're going to see enemy picking up the IQ again. This is something you had touched upon earlier. You had said, well, why bring Buck? IQ can do the same thing with her utilities. She's got the nades. But then we were proven wrong by Buck opening up the floor from above on Oregon.
I didn't say Buck.
It wasn't Buck, it was Sledge?
No, I think it was Ash. Why have they brought IQ instead of Ash at this point? Because they used the same through on... No, sorry, it was Capital. Yeah, no, you're right. It was Capital. Because they were attacking basement on Oregon. And it's like, why are you bringing IQ over Capital?
It was one of the support operators.
She's got grenades and she's there. She's 3 speed and has a good gun. Capital does too, and her firebolts, his firebolts were better in controlling the space downstairs than nades, because they can't get trophy systems. They can't blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to this map, Nades are a tad better thanks to the way you can throw them up from underneath, cook them from below, and damage players from unexpected locations.
Yep, and so we are going to see Team Vitality starting on attack here as they work their way from Valley as well as the east parking lot.
But also, you're right, sorry, that said, Buck would be better to do exactly that again here because of his shotgun and the nades as well.
Yep. But in any case, here we are. Now, I do want to see what efficiencies we're going to have here by IQ. Now, one would think that the majority of it is to spot those Valkyrie cams outside, which is probably the biggest reason they are bringing IQ. You saw her bringing out that device detector. So if that's the only thing they're bringing it for, they must pin a lot on the information that Penta would be gathering.
Definitely so. And so again, it's what we saw from our North American games earlier this week too. We saw Foxer throw those cameras outside and then be very aggressive with his peaks onto this bus ladder and onto the top of tellers because they know once attackers get up there, they have a massive amount of control over this B bomb site. So they put cameras out there and aggressively peaked to lock them and keep them away from that location, which is exactly what Eunice seems to be doing here.
Yeah, and what Eunice, it seems like he's trying to stop them from actually getting on top of that bus over to that ventilation unit so they can't push into archives. He's basically just putting pressure, making them think, okay, it's not clear. We need to keep an eye on this. We can't give up our guard. Now, what Enemy's doing is actually one of the other benefits of him being IQ underneath. He's able to shoot those battery charges without necessarily exposing the entire floor and having being shot back down through. So we can see the wall getting opened up here. Eunice is going to be tight on the doorway here as he actually will get droned out. Reven's going to push on forward and will not land the shots on that 3-speed as he bolts around into the side of lockers.
Important shots that needed to get landed there by Glaz, and he misses them to let Eunice get away safely. He's back to watching that bus, but no one's up that way. The full pressure seems to be coming from Vitality now to this blown wall, but Fabian's got a mirror window and an angle in here to try and stop that plant. He should have a free kill if they try it.
Now it is a 5-on-5 still with 60 seconds left. The gas grenades are going out, gas and smokes, and we're waiting for Eunice to throw out one more, but he will get picked off by Goga as he tries to place the ADS down, and unfortunately that's going to even out man count as Reven has picked off Eunice. So a 4-on-4 now with Fabian still inside the lockers. You've got custom inspections being taken control of by Goga. He does have C4, he's underneath, but he's been spotted out by Panix, and as he tries to get on over into the middle atrium, Panix is there to take him down. Now, smoke grenades are being thrown out. Reven's going to lead the fight there, but the gas grenade's still trying to forbid a push. LM's is going to move in forward, though, and Pengu takes him down. He's going to get a triple kill here with that SMG-11 right onto the head. Actually, no, that's Fabian that got one there. It looked like the icon was the same. KS, though, taking down the last kill, and that will be round one. Going to Penta. Very quick ending.
Yeah, it's this nice idea by Vitality. It's okay. We've taken out the guys below. We've got control of here. We sniped off the Jaeger. Everyone run in. We know where they're going to be. Shoot them. It's not going to work. They have all the positioning they need. They have the defender's advantage of being dug in. You have to be the ones running at them. And as you saw, yeah, okay, Pengu peeks around him, instantly gets the first kill, gets the second one lined up. And even if you had traded him back, bang, Fabian was there too to clean it up. It's just, I don't know, a sloppy attack from Vitality with no utility to back it up. You used all your smoke beforehand, and then it was all wasted because of the smokes that Pengu threw. You had nothing left for the push afterwards, and you just ran into a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, like, one of the things that I saw there, like you said, they used the smokes beforehand. They ran in open. Now, one of the things that we typically see with a Glaz is he'll throw a smoke grenade in and try to shoot through the smokes or see through the smokes without actually being in. If you can smoke out this room, one of the things the defense always does is they pre-fire where it's opened. They know where the wall's opened up. They know where the plant's most likely going to go down. So you throw that smoke grenade, you clear it on out, and you actually, as Glaz, dig yourself into that smoke. Now, it might take 2 or 3 smokes due to the client side of it, but at the same time, if you can cover yourself in that smoke, push on in, you're not going to be in one of those standard pre-fired angles as Glaz, and you could get that upper hand.
Yeah, but every time they threw those smokes out and tried it,
agreed,
he got smoked out himself.
Yep.
So yeah, push back. As it is, Penta are on attack now. They're bringing double breach, which is something Kix and I asked for a lot of teams whenever they were playing this map. Penta have got it. They're bringing Blackbeard and Montaigne again too, and they've got that buck to potentially go underneath and decimate the floor from below, or if the bomb site was upstairs, from above. So as far as control of the map goes, Penta should be a bit like a freight train with a Montaigne and a Blackbeard pushing their way over, but they've got to rely on Eunice's timing from underneath to keep them safe. And well, right now, He's alone down there, and if he can get to below this trapdoor, he should be able to catch Panix's drop down through the hole.
Now, what you're going to see from Panix here, he's waiting to see when Pengu's going to stand still. He's going to pre-fire the window here. He's actually going to tag him and actually finish him off. A good shot here from Panix, taking off the Blackbeard. That's also Diffuser. I'm sorry, Chaos had dropped the Diffuser. But still, taking out the Blackbeard who was repelled on the side, that's going to allow him to push forward, but he's still got to be very cautious. Looks like Fabian will get taken out by Panix. He gets another kill. He's going to get a 4K. No, Raven's going to get one. Panix with a 4K here to take the round in a very dominant fashion. Team Vitality showing that, hey, we know exactly what you're going to do, and if you don't come for us quickly, we will push right back at you.
So yeah, I said Penta's push should have been like a freight train with a Montaigne and a Blackbeard, but the reason that is you have a very strong front. You've got a giant-ass shield, and you've got a Blackbeard who takes headshots. And then they sat themselves in a position where they were exposed from the side every single time. There's some sloppy shots from Goga and from the Buck that were repelling right next to the window that their Blackbeard had just been killed from.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, fortunately for Panix, he was in the right spot at the right time, getting the right shots, and they all counted. Unfortunately for Penta, though, it didn't do anything of what they were anticipating. I know for a fact they weren't expecting that to happen. All
they needed at that point, they tried to just blunt force their way in between what is a very predictable and very easily droned crossfire the Vitality had set up. If they'd have just taken a moment or extra 30 seconds to drone CCTV and then push with even just the Blackbeard from the other door, from the kitchen door, it could have been a far safer way to gain control of that. They'd have pushed those two, quite likely to drop through the hatch to below where Eunice was waiting.
Yeah, and now we did see this from playing Ducks on Consulate. The use of a castle to help change up the flow of the map. And we saw one castle barricade, I think it was downstairs. And so what I'm hoping to see here from Penta is going to be capitalizing on the different flow of the map, which Vitality might not be familiar with. Now, however, they do have a sledge, so they can create their own avenue throughout the different floors and throughout the rooms. But it's all a matter of, are you going to have enough information to make that educated push when it's time to go in?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. There's still got a lot of figuring to do, because not only is, of course, the bomb site below, the players are above that you have to deal with. And right now, Glaz is focusing on the bottom side of the map. There are a few places those players downstairs can just hide in and never be seen until the absolute last possible moment, but that all goes out the window if the upstairs is lost, because then those spots that are untouchable are gone.
Now, what Glaz spotted out there with his drone, he realized that all 4 walls from ventilation to server are open. They are soft. So what you're going to see Glaz do is just pre-fire almost all of that wall when he gets over to it, and you're going to see that basically become his avenue of getting kills.
Yeah, he's got that angle in, but as we said, there are places they can hide in there without exposing themselves to him, even though it's soft. But that all relies on these guys upstairs staying alive, and with that wall being blown open, Vitality can start to pressure on this way a little way.
Now, what we're not necessarily seeing here is Eunice playing that pulse, which you saw him so well done before. And now what we've got here is Rise. He opened up the wall. He's going to finish droning out. He spots Eunice on the half wall. He's calling it out to Panix as Rise is going to hold it down. But taking a look at Panix here, he's going to be one of the first people to engage, and it looks as though Rise, however, will be picked off by Eunice.
Yeah, they knew he was in there. They tried to pin him, but they didn't push him succinctly enough, and as a result, he can punish. He does take out the Thermite, who'd already done his job, but then Goga's there to support by the flank, taking down the next one of Panix. He also finishes off LMs with the Desert Eagle after downing him. And okay, you had those 2 men pushing in towards one man that was pinned, but there was no one watching their backside because the rest of the push is downstairs.
Now, Reven was pushing it with very minimal ammo in that clip, and unfortunately for him, Eunice actually got him from above, it looks like, through the drop hatch. So a very good play by Eunice, taking out the Thermite. And I think, though, that was Valkyrie that took out the sledge, and ultimately, it was just like you said, they didn't take the top floor. That is what came to their demise, and that's what ultimately led to their loss there.
Definitely so. They just knew they had to take control of upstairs. They threw everything they had at it. But again, with no other utility, no other way to deal with Eunice, who just said, all right, well, you're coming through either the door or the wall. I'm just going to peek up, pre-fire one of the spots, and comes out the way with a kill, and doesn't get traded straight back afterwards. He just gets away with it. He stays alive. And as a result, they can just continue control of the upper floor, and Goga is then, all right, you're all piling into that. I'm going to come through CCTV, and even if you did get away with those first couple of kills, I'm going to be here to shoot you in the back. So just clean them up, mop them up. It's good timing.
Agreed, and so now it is 2-1 in favor of Penta. Now, Vitality had a very good defense on that top floor last time, and it was also a game that, or a round that Penta just didn't take advantage of. They were sloppy on that last attack push. They, like you said, they exposed their sides when they had a very strong front with Blackbeard and Montagne. So, seeing as how they're now on a different floor, different site, are we going to see a very similar thing? We're a little different. There is no Blackbeard this time. But will we see that same kind of crossfire setup that Vitality had previously? And I feel like we might.
Yeah, very possible indeed. I mean, say the Blackbeard not being here is going to make a big difference. We didn't even see what they did with it before because of how quick it was picked off. However, knowing now that they had to push downstairs a little bit, I do feel this is why the Hibana's in here. It opens up the opportunity for hatches if it's required, but it also opens up a way to penetrate the workshop, because that's the push that's coming out here, because that wall is going to be fully reinforced all the way through and around toilets, all the way across here from the passport office and whatnot. Hibana allows you to open those up and give you a lot of sight lines in towards the workshop area.
Bomb located by attackers.
Now we do have Pengu again on the Montagne, and he's going to move on forward. It looks like from security over towards the back stairwell, the west stairs. Now he's just right now trying to gather intel. He spots the castle wall on the ventilation room. He knows there's barbed wire in front. He knows that, hey, there's going to be people inside of A, but he also realizes we need to take control of top floor, which is where 3 of the defenders are. You've got Jaeger, Smoke, and Castle all up there. Alems is going to be inside a bathroom. Looks as though Goga might be going in for a push here after he opens up the walls into A. Reven's going to come back on site. Fabian is trying to hold off the bathroom push. He's still lurking inside of Tellers as Case is holding down the east stairwell. This actually looks like it might be a gas and plant here momentarily from Goga and Pengu.
There is a smoke here, but enemy's going to have to try and come around the corner to throw it and gets punished. Goga, nice angle. Fabian finds Rise on his flank around 2. The C4 is going to come out, but that's nowhere near the planter, and it's going to go through.
This is a very good push by Penta. They've covered all angles. They've predicted where the C4s, where the gases are going to come, and they weren't ever in position for him. And that's going to be a flawless round from Penta. Very well done.
Penta try and tell me again, we have no strategy to win. No, like
that's a strategy.
That is a pre-planned, thought-out plant point. It's all right. So how do we attack this workshop? Well, we blow up this wall. We plant in a Montaigne in the corner. There's no very nice angles. We can cover the rotates down from east side from this one position. We can cover the rotates down through the CCTV trapdoor and the metal stairs from this one position, and we hold firm, and everyone peeks into exactly where we wanted and expected them, and job done. Round in the bag. Beautiful.
I'm calling Fabian on his BS there. They do have strats.
Yeah. that was a masterclass.
That was well planned, Penta. Good job on that hold, or on that push. It's a 3-1 now. We are in the 3rd and final map of this series. Penta took the first one on Oregon. Kafe was dominated by Vitality. Not actually dominated. That went to the 11th round, but still went in favor of Vitality. And here we are, 3-1, Penta leading the way in the 3rd map of this series. Winner will take first place in Group B for EUPL, and now then we'll have that 2nd and 3rd decider match next week.
They're looking at that scoreboard quickly. Rise he's still sitting on a dirty donut with Alems this round. Like after seeing him drop way over 15 kills on Kafe, he's now sitting with a donut. He's clearly a comfort thing, or at least a role thing. The role they've given him on this map does not suit him as well as it did on Kafe, and as a result, the team is suffering for it. The rounds were very close because he was getting a lot of those kills on Kafe. Those kills aren't coming out for him here, and he's not making anywhere near as much of an impact. Same with Alems having a dirty donut as well, not making these impacts. Penta just know how to play against the positions that Vitality are throwing them this time around. Yeah,
and it seems like you said, he's in a role on this on this map that is different than the role he played on Kafe, which is one of the reasons why his impact has not been as noticeable. And what we are seeing here from Vitality now is, again, taking over the monitors rooms. Now, opening up that drop hatch, to me, good thing, bad thing, who knows? I mean, because it does leave the potential for C4 to get thrown up through, or...
It does, but it's also a quick rotate down and out if you get pinched, if you're
Correct.
in trouble. It allows you to keep an eye on the roamers from below coming up those metal staircases if and when you can force someone into that position too.
What a shot by Eunice, almost doming Glaz there as he's outside by the south balcony, I think that was.
Eunice, yeah, he was in the main corridor, peeking through from office to CCTV, and tagged Glaswell is in CCTV.
So here we have it now. Panics and LMs are both inside of the CCTV. Rise is going to get that wall opened up as enemies underneath. Again, that's the role of the IQ in this position. Find the Valk cams, get them destroyed. Find the batteries, shoot them through the floor without opening it up so much that you get exposed yourself.
Enemy is still droning outside, and of course went down below to shoot out those batteries before, like we saw previously. And then it goes back onto his drone. Once again, we're seeing a Vitality push, which is similar. They've opened up the A wall. They know exactly where PENTA are sitting on the inside, but this time are they going to save themselves some utility to be able to get in there, or are they just going to run into the open again?
Now with 60 seconds left, Eunice is coming around for the flank. They know that one is inside of servers, and Alems is actually peeking around as Eunice tries to go for the flank, and it doesn't work out. Alems will dome Eunice down for the count. A 5-on-4, now 60 seconds left to go. Reven has been looking through the wall here. He's being gassed out. The mirror has been opened up. Fabian's head gets shown, but the shots do not land on it, and therefore enemy working his way up the west stairs, trying to fight off anyone that could be inside of that middle corridor.
40 seconds to go. Goga is holding down office and looking for this distraction from the other side, but the push has to come soon.
Now this is that PENTA we've seen before where they're very steady even in times of congestion. And so Reven still knows that Fabian's here. Fabian knows that Reven's going for the push, but he's being very cautious. Right now Reven has his trigger finger ready to go, and it doesn't look like it's going to fly just yet. KS will get panicked. He'll also get enemy down. Alems will pick off Pengu. C4 goes flying and will take down the Glass. A 2-on-2, and now it's a 2-on-1 here with last man alive will be Thurman. He's got to rush in. It's Rise against 2. Goga and KS, and it looks like Rise will take that kill onto 1-on-1. 5 seconds to go, but he's just going to have to plant right now. Rise will get it down, and it's going to be a standoff here.
He may not get
Oh,
down.
he won't. No, not enough time. Goga comes dashing around and will pick off Rise, and PENTA will take this 4-1 at the moment. This is match point, series point here for PENTA.
7-second plant time, and he didn't have the chance to hold it all the way through. There was a moment where he could have come off and peeked around that locker for the kill. Goga
That is
lucky
risky.
that he didn't. I'm riskier than trying to hold it when there was guaranteed 2 seconds of overlap, which he maybe could have gone with it, but unless he was 100% confident in where Goga was going to come from, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's whatever. But smart play from Goga to just stay alive just long enough to force that out until the final second. And again, great play from PENTA, just holding firm. I know you've got me pinned here in the corner, said Fabian. I know you've got a sight line straight through this mirror window. Yes, you've taken out my units from below, but you've got no pressure behind me. KS did a monstrous job holding those metal detectors through the middle, through that flank down up the metal stairs, taking out those 2 pushes that came through there. And then managing to C4 onto Revan, and then managing to kill LMs as he pushed aggressively onto him for that final moment. So KS actually picking up 4 of those kills in trade for each one of his teammates that fell around him is huge.
And so we are getting underway with round number 6. And again, this is match point for PENTA. We're going to have Team Vitality selecting that top 4 site. Everyone does have at least a 1 kill on the board here, but like we had talked about in the last round, we are just seeing some players not put in roles that seem to be effective towards them. But at the same time, for PENTA, it seems to be working out for them.
Yeah, it's true. They are, however, back onto the Blackbeard-Montaigne combination that we saw previously. They are attacking the upstairs. This time, they need to do it without exposing themselves to a Panix 4K. Now, I think they've learned from their lesson because they're not spawning over in that West Valley and coming towards the A. They seem to be spawning over towards the East Valley and coming towards B. And they've got up on top of that air conditioning unit, the toll booth roof, far easier than perhaps they should have been allowed. And Pengu is now dug in with a lot of control over B as Fabian is eyeing up the doorway.
Yeah, and so this is a total opposite bomb site push that we're going to see. Like you said, Pengu on ventilation. You've got KS working his way underneath. Montaigne is going to be pushing in towards the B site from the corridor. Now, what would you rather see here? Would you rather see Montaigne smoke it out, go for the plant himself with the shield on his back, or would you rather see him be the shield, a full extended shield, for someone to plant behind him?
It depends on the state of Vitality and who is alive and who isn't. Now, right now, there's 5 alive, so you need as many guns up as possible. So having Fabian block some shots and then someone else plant, that's 2 people out of the picture.
Now Panix will take down Eunice, but KS gets the trade onto Panix here, and that's also the Pulse going down, which is actually probably the key operator that needed to get taken out from the defensive standpoint. So a minute 30 to go. You still have KS down here inside of server. You've got Montagna trying to push into B, just waiting a little bit more time. Rise and KS are going to go head-to-head here. KS actually goes for the drop shot, but doesn't get it. At the same time, Alems will take down Goga, but Goga's Claymore will take down Alems there on the trade. A very good collapse there. 3-on-2 at the moment. Now you do have both forefront shields alert moving forward. Are we going to see that plant go down? Enemy's going to come around. He's going to turn his head at the wrong time. And it looks like Enemy might get the shotgun onto him. He does! And the C4 from Reven will take down Fabian. Team Vitality is still in this as we head into round 7, where it's 4-2 at the moment with Penta leading the way.
Yeah, those picks from Lems and downstairs onto KS. The Jaeger play just giving the numbers advantage back into Vitality's favor. Says, all right, you've got your 2 shields left. That's fine. But we can now just put everyone back on this site and peak you in such numbers that Blackbeard can't shoot us all at the same time. And yeah, Montaigne, okay, we've lost our pulse, but this is a very predictable spot that you're in right now. So we'll just C4 that and see what happens.
So Team Vitality showing that they are still trying to get back in this. They've got a long road ahead of them, but they still are not giving up. And I think that's going to be one of the things to remember about Team Vitality, even if this thing goes south, is that if it goes south for them, is that they're still here fighting their way here.
As it is Penta defending Workshop and Ventilation for another time around. It went quite nicely for them before, because just like we saw upstairs when the bombs were upstairs, Vitality just tried to charge on into that bunker location and the small office here that Goga's reinforcing, and didn't have anything to back it up. They didn't have flashbangs, they didn't have smokes, they didn't have whatever. They just sprinted straight into Eunice's crosshairs, sprinted into Fabian's crosshairs, and then Goga was given a free flank because they split their attention. 3 upstairs, 2 downstairs, and the 3 were occupied by 2, which gave Goga freedom to flank.
Now this is looking very similar, not the exact same, but a little similar to the ominous hold which we saw Bacon doing with Mira inside of that middle offices. Now, one of the things that happened with that particular location, that particular hold, was if Mira were to somehow die, there was someone that was able to drop back, rotate, and hold that center point, which was paramount to the defensive side. Whether it was top or bottom, we saw that handled. And so with Bombsight even being downstairs inside of that ventilation unit and servers, keeping control via that center office is still a primary goal for Penta.
Yeah, we'll see how they do it as Vitality's attack starts to shape up from the southwest and think about where it is they want to go. They've got position inside a little bit, drones around for others, and they are just cautious that there's no one hiding in these weird, unpredictable positions that we saw on Oregon. And it is, I think, an interesting thing to note is that Penta's play here is a little bit more standard than Oregon. Oregon being an old map, being an original map, being something people have been playing for years, really. You can have that freedom and confidence to do these kind of crazy things that we saw Eunice doing, hiding under windows, hiding in surprise spots. Here they are a little bit more disciplined.
Now again, we are going to see the majority of Penta players staying on site. We do have Castle and Valkyrie up top. That's going to be Goga and Pengu. So with Fabian trying to basically rotate around, he's the one that's going back and forth from bathrooms into servers, but Reven will pick up that first shot there, on to believe to KS.
Yeah, he droned him and then sprayed through the wall and managed to pick up the kill. He's been replaced now by Fabian. He stayed at a much lower point, so he couldn't get sprayed through the wall, but they are down a man, and it is early in the round.
Pengu, though, trying to trade it back, taking off Panix. That's also their Sledge, one of their most utility-heavy operators in this particular lineup. Now, taking a look at Pengu, he's now traded positions. This is what we said. This is the paramount spot to hold on to it. Pengu's going to take down Alems. The smoke grenade was just a little bit too late, and Alems might have been a little bit too early, but nonetheless, Pengu managed to get that kill. Thermite still trying to push in, but he won't be doing so just quite yet.
Reven's been C4 down below. Eunice peeks out to finish him off as well. It's just 2 attackers left alive now.
And you've got Rise. You also have Ash, who is underneath. So with that, Enemy and Rise are going to be the last 2. It looks like Rise takes a couple bullets, and we're going to have Pengu fall back onto site. Ash is going to try to push on in, but Eunice will be there. And now Rise, last man alive, has 30 health. He's going to come down to the west wall and try to push on in. Diffuser has been dropped inside of site. He's got 30 seconds in a 4-on-1. It does not look good for him. And I think Penta has this in the bag as long as they make sure this doesn't go to a 1-on-1 constant fight back and forth. And there it is. Eunice peeks around from the ventilation unit and will get Rise down. Penta will be taking first place in Group B for the European Pro League.
Well deserved, to say the least, especially there on that final map and not first map on Oregon, to be fair. Kafe does look like a weak point for Penta, and I think teams going against them in the future should pay attention to that. But you need to do a lot of learning or just steer well clear of their Oregon or border play, because they had some very impressive moments in there.
They did. And so with that, I mean,